1:25 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the United States. Welcome in, everybody, to Radio Roulette. You all know the rules by now. Well, no nights off, no dull moments in the NBA. I mean, we're gonna get to Blazers Nuggets at some point, but where to lead off? What is the narrative? What is the story from what we just witnessed? I don't know. The story's got to be Devin Booker, of course, right? From a basketball standpoint. We're in year 18 of LeBron James's career. Year 18 now. And nothing has really felt like a moment like LeBron going to Frank Vogel and asking to be taken out because he was so out of gas in that fourth quarter. That was the first time, I think, since I've watched LeBron James, the St. Vincent St. Mary's days on ESPN in like 2002, that I have ever seen a complete and utter just, I need a break. In this, he is going to be on the Mount Rushmore of NBA players for as long as any of us listening to this are going to be alive. Okay, tonight's performance or this series will not define his career. So don't even start thinking this is going to be about LeBron slander. But he has, for almost two straight decades, we have taken for granted that he just plays every single second of every single game in hundreds, not just the regular season, not just the Olympics, but these type of games, hundreds of them. And never once in the Cavs days. Never once in the Cavs days. Never once in the Heat days. Never once back in the Cavs days. And until now on the Lakers have I seen him hold his hand up and say, I need a breather. He is human. And some will say that the famous saying is Father Time is undefeated. Yeah, of course. I think that's been proven many times over. But Father Time tonight was not some spirit. Father Time put on a purple jersey that had the number 1 on it. That's the Father Time that beat LeBron James tonight. Not that he can't play 45 minutes. But let tonight be that moment in time in which we look back whenever he decides to hang it up one day, that we remember the turning point of maybe he doesn't have adamantium in his blood anymore. He's had it in there for so long, more than any athlete I think we've ever seen since we've been alive. He may come back and prove us wrong next year. But I've never seen him need a breather before in those moments, especially when they're coming back. I've begged. We've heard Laker fans in this chat, in this show, come in here, and we want to shake LeBron's collar and tell him that you are LeBron James. Where are you? And as I'm talking to you right now, I'm watching a highlight of him walking back on defense with 2:42 left in the fourth quarter, down by 15, and not come back into the frame until it's now 2:32 on this video. It's now 2:28 in this video. There he is, walking back on the court. And we've seen bad body language from him before, and I'm certainly not going to judge him for it. But he's out of gas. He's out of gas. The best player in the world, the consensus best player in the world for 2 decades. I think the conversation probably has to be revisited at this time if there was any holdouts left over. And again, don't for a second think that this changes his career arc overall. Recency bias, of course. It's always fun to throw LeBron under the bus. But in that moment right there took me, I had to sit down, standing up watching the game. I've never seen LeBron call to come out of the game like that. Facing elimination. He's done it plenty of times, of course. Regular season, first quarter, second quarter, needs a breather. Completely fine. I know I'm exaggerating here. But that was a moment which I won't forget whenever the career arc begins to decline like every other normal human before him. The story should be about the Phoenix Suns because this was a true and utter colossal ass kicking in every way. If you're a Laker fan out there listening to this for therapy of AD wasn't there, we were banged up, LeBron rolled his ankle, didn't play the end of the regular season, I don't want to hear it. Because even the Chris Paul we saw out there tonight is still a shadow of the Chris Paul that we know. They were dealing with a more influential injury to their team than the Lakers had. So I don't want to hear it. Everyone's banged up. Everyone's got an issue. But the epitome of this series and the epitome of this game came in the first quarter. There were two instances. I hope everyone knows what I'm talking about here because I can't show it to you as I speak it to you. In the first quarter, there was a moment in which Kyle Kuzma is standing on the block for a rebound. First quarter, as the Phoenix Suns are starting to build a little bit of a lead. And Mikal Bridges comes off the television screen to soar over Kyle Kuzma, who's busy bird watching. And Mikal Bridges gets the ball, gets the rebound, quick two. The absolute epitome of this series where the Phoenix Suns created their own luck. They created their own opportunities and they found themselves in the right place at the right time many times. And that is not a coincidence. There is no such thing as a coincidence in a 7-game series. That's play number one. Play number two. As the Lakers are coming back, Dennis Schroeder, who, oh my God, in that first half, Dennis Schroeder, talk about someone, every time he touched the ball, it felt like it cost Dennis Schroeder $1 million in salary. His agent had to be sitting at home pulling his hair out, just like, please, fake an injury or something. You're costing us so much money by being out there. This man turned down $84 million because he wants $100. Again, the only veterans presence that he's going to have on this Laker team next year is if he takes the veterans minimum. But he stepped it up there in the third quarter. I do have to give him credit there. It looked like he was starting to be the spearhead of leading the Lakers back. Dennis Schroeder gets a rebound and he flies with the ball. He's always been able to do that regardless if he can't hit Ocean, if he fell out of a boat. Dennis Schroeder gets the ball, leaks out into transition, blowing away the Phoenix Suns. And who, by the way, comes from behind? Cam Payne. Cam Payne chases him down to knock the ball out of bounds after Cam Payne misses a bunny at his offensive rim. Cam Payne is able to catch up to Schroeder in transition to knock the ball out of bounds and prevent a two, which would have given them all sorts of crazy momentum. It is hustle plays, which you can, if you're the Phoenix Suns, you can hang your hat on. Of course, Devin Booker is the star. He showed us tonight why he is a bona fide all-star, why his ceiling, we still don't know what it is. It feels like a very similar trajectory to someone like Jason Tatum, that we just don't know where he's going to end up. He's that talented. He did all the dirty work, especially with CP3, not being able to handle the load of traditionally what CP3 does. But this Suns team was always first on the ball. And DeAndre Ayton got hurt tonight too, by the way. So all excuses out the window. But there's a reason that DeAndre Ayton shooting 90% in this series. Why is that, guys? Why do you think DeAndre Ayton can put up that ridiculous shooting percentage against the league's best defense? Quite literally, the first-rated defense in the NBA. Because despite DeAndre Ayton's evolution on the offensive side in the ability to work out of the post, everyone on this Phoenix Suns team did exactly what their role was. And Ayton's role in this series was to run rim to rim, protect, and finish anything and clean the glass. By shooting 90%, that tells me DeAndre Ayton probably took a handful that you can count on one or two hands at most shots outside of the paint. Whether they went in or not. All he did was set perfect picks and roll, create second chance opportunities. Jay Crowder's three-point field goal percentage comes back to the mean. And a lot of those opportunities are going to be because something DeAndre Ayton did, whether that's actually physically getting the rebound himself or boxing somebody out or getting his hand in there to get a loose ball opportunity. You can find 1,000 different plays this series in which DeAndre Ayton proved that he himself not only has a role on this team, okay, as a starter, an important role, an X-factor role, but his game and his willingness to do that is something a lot of stars and a lot of former number one picks cannot really suck up and say, like, man, I'm the number one pick. Give me the damn ball. I'm going to show you some shit that I can do. We've seen plenty of number one picks try and do that and it not work out. Ayton has just thrived under whatever the Monty Williams sets, and this Phoenix Suns team led by Chris Paul and Devin Booker want him and where they want him to be. What's the narrative going to be about the Lakers? Can I believe that having only 60, 70 days between the end of the bubble and the beginning of the regular season contributed to just running out of gas? Yeah, I can certainly do that. I think it's a feasible conversation. It was the shortest offseason after one of the most strenuous, probably, playoff situations ever for these guys. Yeah, I can buy the narrative. But that's a lot of games. They missed a lot of games during the regular season. And it wasn't a Clippers thing that we'll just figure it out later. Because they had the number one rated defense. They do what they do best and turn the ball over and get out in transition and score on you. But they played a team which set the NBA record. NBA record for playoff turnovers in a game on the good side, not the bad side. The Suns took what the Lakers do best and they flipped it on its head. Call an ambulance, but not for me meme. That was the Phoenix Suns turnovers against what the Lakers want to do to score points. Every single night I have come into this show and I've read you, I haven't even looked yet, the number of turnovers that the Phoenix Suns have per game. Their season average of 14. If they could stay under that, told you right before the series started that they have a chance to win this. In almost every single game, at least the ones with the wins, it has been under that mark. That's the true narrative here. Not that the Lakers ran out of gas because they had to play 72 games after a 60-day break. And by the way, that 60-day break, a lot of these guys, the LeBrons of the world and the Anthony Davises, they're off playing Olympics once every 4 years too. Everyone had to go through the same shit here. Everybody. But if the Lakers didn't want to run out of gas, now you guys see the importance of the play-in tournament. Let me explain real quick, and I promise I'm going to get to your calls. Here is where the play-in tournament comes into such effect. The Lakers had so much stress on them at the end of the regular season to rush LeBron back, rush Anthony Davis back, so that they could get into uniform and play a Sunday 1 p.m. game at Indiana to beat the damn Pacers. And then the very next day, they had to get on a plane without resting, without rehabbing, and go to New Orleans to play the Hornets just to have the opportunity in case Portland lost, or like Dallas lost, or Golden State lost, or like any of these teams that they could get out of the play-in tournament from. The stress that they put in that week to get there, which ultimately didn't work. Then they go through one of the games of the year against the Golden State Warriors, which was a foxhole World War III game. Lord knows what that took out of them. And then while the Phoenix Suns are sitting home watching that game, the Lakers have 24 hours to treat LeBron's ankle, to treat AD's entire body. And they have to go play the Phoenix Suns. If they wanted the rest that they so desperately needed, they needed to find a way to hold on to a top 6 seed in the Western Conference. I think the play-in tournament is brilliant. And that is more of a story for me, guys, than the Lakers' short offseason. The short offseason put the pressure on them to have to get through the play-in tournament above the cut line. And they ran out of gas. They completely ran out of gas. From a guy that has never run out of gas. And regarding Anthony Davis, of course, as soon as the dust settles and blows over, the Anthony Day to Davis nickname is going to stick. Because people are assholes. But Anthony Davis went out there and tried to give it a go. You got to give him credit for that. And it is so painful to watch these guys out there clearly laboring. And I had flashbacks to Kevin Durant forcing it in Toronto with the Achilles. And you're just watching it knowing that here comes the car crash. And Anthony Davis goes down with an injury. And that was it. Y'all weren't winning Game 7 without him anyway. So I wouldn't lose a minute of sleep over that if I'm a Laker fan. And here's also the problem with the Anthony Davis situation is he wants to play so bad that of course, he's a competitor. He's an incredible player. He's going to tell the training staff, I have no pain. I'm good. So for the way the training staff to validate that, they put you through workouts at the beginning because it's their job to do this. And they put Anthony Davis through a workout and they deem that he's healthy enough to give it a go. So it does go both ways. Everyone wants to throw the training staff under the bus because they made a bad call. Well, they can only work. They're not inside of Anthony Davis's body. And he wasn't out there being a liability for more than 5 minutes anyway. So credit to him for giving it a go. But it is what it is. I'll save my monologue on the Blazers and Nuggets because they did play an important game as well. Let's take some Laker calls first, and then I'm going to pivot and we're going to go to Nuggets Blazers. So if you are in the chat right now, y'all know the drill. Wave at me if you want to vent, if you want to talk. This is meant to be a therapy session. We have a lot of Lakers fans talking trash this entire playoffs during the show. I better be seeing you in the damn lobby. For all of y'all, one in particular that was planning his trip to Los Angeles so that he can come to Figueroa Boulevard for the parade, even down 3-2. Y'all are quick to give it out. You better be in here willing to take it. Who wants to lead us off? Any Lakers fans particularly? I'm going to go with the Kobe Bryant jersey over here. With a Laker Nation LFG. Talk to me, my friend.
Hey, man. How's it going?
How are we feeling?
Depressed. Not much else to say.
I think that's an accurate word. If I could put what happened tonight into one word, I think y'all need to think about. If you get selected, I want to hear what your one word is regarding what you witnessed at Staples Center. Mine is downfall, just because that is in regards to the King. Downfall of the Lakers, downfall of the LeBron that is the consensus best player in the world. He's still an all-star. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's, oh, boo-hoo. Oh, now he's probably like the third best player in the world or something. Like, I'm not in the mood to do rankings, but it felt like something happened tonight, and hopefully he comes out and proves me wrong next year.
I think he was just really gassed, man. He was talking about his ankle ever since he got injured, and ever since then he hasn't seemed like his normal self. Like, when you watch LeBron, you have the feeling that he can just dominate the game, but it just didn't feel like it tonight. I don't think he could just take over the game and continue going. He was gassed out.
There were certainly moments in which he put the ball on the floor, he got to the rim, he had a nice dunk in the half court. It wasn't even in transition. You saw a couple penetrations. Well, all right, LeBron's here. It was the third quarter. They're starting to come back, and it was led by LeBron penetrating and getting his guys involved. And that's fine. Like, we were in here bitching the other night about LeBron. You need to just have the ball and take over. There's a difference because that's exactly what he did, and he's getting KCP and Wes Matthews completely wide open threes because of his penetration. It's a lot different usually when he's just standing around the perimeter and swinging the ball, and he does like his cross-court pass thing. That's still okay, but when you're LeBron, you need to be on the ball 100% of the time. And he did that, again, to his credit. But for them to come back from this deficit, it was going to require Game 6 in Boston in 2012 and that type of performance of him just dunking on the entire city of Phoenix to bring them back. And he just didn't have it. I don't think he has the capability to do it anymore.
Yeah, he just doesn't have it anymore. But it's not a bad thing, man. He's been good for so long that you can't expect this from him. And it's his 18th year, right?
This is year 18. And that's how I led I led the show by, and I tweeted about it too, but this was the moment that I took for granted. So I want to admit I took it for granted too, because I've been watching basketball for every minute that LeBron has been in the NBA. And you just assume he's going to be out there for 45 plus minutes in these elimination games because he has been. He's the only one that has been, okay? And tonight was the first night it didn't happen.
So. Yeah, he's just been good for so long that, like, you expect it from him. It's just become a normality. but like it just wasn't possible today. And I think he was really heartbroken when AD couldn't do it either, right? If you have like a second running partner to like really push it, AD just had to get out of the game. So I think his morale was very low. And then the rest of the Lakers, man, they just come on, like Schroeder, Kuzma, man. I don't know what Kuzma was doing tonight, but you can't really blame, like, you have to give credit to the Phoenix Suns. They played like absolutely perfectly. They played so well, and Devin Booker was just amazing. At the end of the day, it just wasn't out yet, and we can blame injuries, but last year we won because of injuries as well. People can even make that argument. There was so many injuries on the other teams that made our route so much easier, and this year kind of reversed on us. Karma, I guess, but I just don't know where we're going to go from now. Like, where can we go from here?
You're preaching the gospel, Priz. Before I let you go, may I ask what part of the world you're calling in from?
I'm from New Zealand.
New Zealand. Gigi, add it to the map. Priz, we appreciate you, my friend. Thanks for the call. New Zealand. That's our second New Zealand call, I believe. Let's go to Zach Thomas, who has changed his name since I clicked on him to Saddened Los Angeles Lakers Fan. Give me your one word, man. Give me your one word that you would describe tonight.
Hey, man, it's saddened for sure.
Saddened. Okay, that's a good way to put it.
For sure. I don't want to, so let me start off by saying, and I'm not trying to discredit the Suns, injuries played a big role in this. You know, like how Brett said last one, though, you know, it's kind of karma kind of thing. But, man, let me tell you, I'm a big UK fan. I love seeing D-Book go crazy. It was tears of joy and pain going on over here, man.
He really took a step, I think, forward. Of course, we know we know his potential. We've seen him do it in the regular season, but doing it in the playoffs is a completely different story. And he had multiple games. There was a 2-game stretch in which he was shooting poorly, but the Lakers at this point have the entire book on Booker and the Suns. So they know kind of what's coming. And these defenders have had so many opportunities at him that when Devin Booker proves towards the end of that you still can't stop me with all of this information at your disposal, that's the most impressive part to me. There's a big difference between doing it in game 1 and close out on the other team's floor in game 6. And he was absolutely money. If there is any way to stop Devin Booker, because it's saying it's a lot easier said than done. Okay, the Lakers proved that if we cut off his ability to get going on either dribble handoffs or he just loves to be in motion as he's catching the ball, because he doesn't want to shoot pull-up threes. He wants to get into the paint and do either pull-up twos, get to the rim, step backs. He loves being in motion. And for 2 games there, the ones in which the Lakers won, they did a phenomenal job of cutting him off and making him solitary and take shots stationed, stuck in mud from the outside. And tonight, when the defensive energy disappeared, it allowed Booker to just get into the groove, and he got to the point that honestly it doesn't even matter anymore. He just seeing red. The damn hoop probably looked like hula hoop instead of an NBA hoop.
And I was watching this one because I watch Skip and Shannon a lot, and Skip steady bashing him on his 3-point shot. He's not an elite 3-point shooter. I'm like, man, he not just a 3-point. He's a scorer. He can flat out score. It's not just 3-point. You can get to the cup, get you a mid-range, get you a 3-point. It don't matter. Whatever you give him, he gonna take it. That's his game, and I love it, man. As a UK fan, I love it. But another thing that's what got me is a lot of these people don't understand how good the Suns really were. Like, they don't realize that, you know, they forget that they were a good team last year too. It's just DeAndre Ayton went out with suspension. Everything was going on with that. You know, he tested positive for some opioids in the system, something like that. So he was out for like a 25-game suspension. He came back. They played good. He went back out with an ankle injury. So I mean, the Suns have been a good team. Well, not have been a good team, but they got a little roster going on over there. I think Chris Paul, he added some depth to them, but they're going to be in the playoffs regardless. They're going to be a good team regardless, and I just feel like, you know, adding Chris Paul, they got a squad, man. They got a pretty deep squad over there. And again, it's just tears of joy this way with D-Book going from 47 on our head like that. I love to see it, but I hate to see it at the same time.
Understood.
And one more thing before you let me go. I know you're a Knicks fan. I just want to say again, as a UK fan, man, shout out Julius Randle. Big UK fan from the Lakers, too. I love to see him succeed, too.
Amen, my friend. We thank you for the call, Zach. And Zach brings up a point there in which I think that I didn't speak about during the opening monologue there. How soon did we forget that the Phoenix Suns went to the bubble, go undefeated at the end of that season, and how that carries over into 2021? You better believe that carries over into 2021. So for everyone out there that's begging their teams to tank, whether they're on the fringe of the playoffs or not, if you have young players and you're building towards something, you can see what it means. Because I remember that Monty Williams speech in the locker room after they found out they got eliminated. And that Phoenix Suns team was the first time that those words, it felt like to me that they stuck, in which we have something special here. Are y'all with me? Was pretty much the Spark Notes version of how that went. And they all believed in that moment that we went undefeated for a reason. We're playing for a coach we believe in, and that carried over. And this Phoenix Suns team, of course, like the Lakers, lived off of its defense throughout the regular season campaign all the way into the playoffs. They are menaces, guys. They are menaces at blitzing pick and rolls. Between Bridges and Cam Johnson and Jay Crowder, I felt like I was watching the Atlanta Hawks play the New York Knicks in that any type of skip pass, which is supposed to be there after a double team, all of a sudden gets covered. You're like, how the hell did he get over there? Just because they're so good at staying home while helping out and just making life a living hell. It felt like the Lakers didn't get a single clean look at the rim that wasn't in transition. And even then, if the Suns were involved. Devin Booker, not known for his three-point shooting, by the way. We've reiterated that a couple of times. Devin Booker tonight, 8 of 10 from three-point land. 8 of 10. Mr. 33% three-point shooter goes 8 of 10 in a closeout game against the reigning champions. You know what this series felt like? Guys? This series felt like when the Lakers had to stumble into Dallas during their championship season. That Laker team that between Kobe and Bynum, and they had some guys, and they just didn't have it during the regular season. They were still the Lakers. They still had their stars, but there was something about that Dallas Mavericks team that they were out for blood. They were the better team, more energy. They played better. They just checked every box. And the losing team at the time, you didn't think for a second the Lakers were ever going to beat the Mavericks in that series. Granted, they won a couple of more games now, but in this one in particular, there are same vibes, man. Same weird vibes that I'm getting from this, the way this series went down to that, that was 2011, I believe. 2011, the Mavericks team with Dirk that ended up winning the title. When you can admit at the end of that series, no matter who the names on the back of the Lakers jerseys, the only reason why you thought they had a chance at some point was because it said Lakers on the front of it. But when the final buzzer goes off, we can all agree that the Phoenix Suns were the better team in this series. In almost every way. Every way. Man. Before I take the next call, I'm kind of curious. LeBron has the best net rating of any Laker tonight at minus 2.4. Some notables: Kyle Kuzma minus 13, Dennis Schroeder minus 12.5. Caruso got hurt, forgot about that. Montrezl Harrell minus his net rating minus 103. Unplayable. Markieff Morris minus 32. What was supposed to be a plethora of options for this Lakers team in the front court. Andre Drummond didn't even touch the damn floor. They had it with JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard in the bubble. Those were formidable guys that they could put out there and not lose anything. And it was up to Marc Gasol to hold down the fort alone, practically. What a difference a year makes. You figure you had 4 guys, none of them panned out. And how about, by the way, as I continue to give you moments from those games, that particular game that stands out the most, when LeBron called out because he was gassed. The Suns score 7 straight points in 30 seconds. 7 straight points in 30 seconds, and they had to call another timeout. Destruction. Take advantage of the other team when their bench is on the floor without their stars. That's going to be what I'm talking about with the Portland Trailblazers in a little bit. But let's keep going here with the Lakers. Or the Suns, depending on who you are. Is there a Suns fan in here? Not seeing many waivers. Still 100 of you in here. Looking for a Suns fan. No, we're going to go to another Laker fan for now. Oh, I see a Suns fan. I'll get you a Suns fan after this call. Tribu. Tribu? What's up, Tribu?
Yes, man. Can you hear me?
I can. What's your word? What's your one word for this series or this game?
Yeah, I've been trying to get here so long, bro.
You made it.
Shit, crazy. One word for this game is just
Silence.
It feels like an end of an era.
Okay, we'll call that we'll hyphenate those and do end of an era.
Yeah, but I'm saying I don't want to say it's end of an era because a lot of injuries played into why like the series went how it did. I'm saying I'm gonna say AD with the groin and who knows what's going on with his knee or whatever, his legs, and obviously LeBron was dealing with the ankle sprain, so he obviously wasn't 100%. So it's just I'm not gonna say it's end of an era because injuries played a part in it, but I mean it also can be, you know what I'm saying, the Suns on the rise, and I'm very interested. Here's what I want to say. I'm very interested in seeing how the Suns go and play against the Nuggets with Chris Paul's shoulder fucked up, because that could be a big difference in the series. But I mean, can you imagine Jamal Murray if he never tore his ACL?
Yeah, and there's a whole lot of what ifs going on here, right? With the Lakers, with the Nuggets, even with Chris Paul right now, he clearly is not 100% or anywhere close to it, and he may not be for the rest of the playoffs because he is just disengaged. He doesn't. I'm watching him throw an alley-oop to DeAndre Ayton right now on a replay, but Chris Paul is usually the on-ball floor general dominant player in that Phoenix Suns backcourt, and he has more so become the Robin to this team, mainly because he probably doesn't feel the confidence in that shoulder to be on the ball with that type of usage that he's accustomed to. And you know what? In this particular series, that's fine. It worked. But to your point, of course, once he begins the 7-game series against a healthier team, we'll see how that shoulder looks. It looks like it's getting better by the day, but more so for the Lakers. You said end of an era, and I'm going to be interested to find out how they're going to replace some of these guys that got to get paid, or if they're going to pay them and run it back, because it sure feels like they're not going to be running it back with this particular team, at least 100% of them. So who's out there that LeBron can get a little bit of help? You know, what's the definition of help in this case? Would it be a third scorer that LeBron doesn't have to play 42 minutes anymore and be able to put up the 50-point games that he's done for so many years? Is it get actual big men back there? Find the next JaVale and Dwight Howard from the 2020 bubble.
Exactly.
Like, which one is it? I don't know.
Dude, what? Oh my God. Dude, first of all, get Kuzma out of here. Kuzma got to go to China or somewhere, or they got to get rid of Kuzma. Kuzma is a non-factor. Get rid of Kuzma. First, that's the first thing they got to do. First off, why? I don't understand why they felt like they had to blow this team up. First off, they got rid of. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna check. I got so much to say, dude. They got rid of JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard and essentially replaced them with Marc Gasol. That he can't even play pick and roll defense at all. And then Montrezl Harrell he got exposed last year in the bubble in the playoffs because he's too small.
Yeah, so I think the front court is the consensus decision here, in which the Lakers need some new big guys if they want to continue to do the 3-4 man rotation. They're going to certainly need that because Anthony Davis is not going to play every single game in the regular season, whether he's healthy or not. So they need to find the next JaVale and the next Dwight. Regarding Kuzma, I thought he did do a lot of things well throughout the season in which they didn't need him to score. He would hit the glass. He was really good on defense, but in this particular series, of course, when the spotlight is brightest and all the Laker fans are watching him throw balls off the glass, there is an instance in which, okay, Anthony Davis isn't out here anymore. Who was the second scorer for the Los Angeles Lakers? And I asked this question after Game 5. Coming into Game 6, who's going to be the guy to help LeBron score if AD is not there? And we sat here with the caller that I spoke to, and we couldn't come up with an answer for a good 30 seconds. I think we ultimately fell back on either Schroeder or THT or Caruso. Like, that's the answer to it. And it wasn't Kuzma. And now you kind of see why it wasn't Kuz. Again, I want to give Kuz credit because I thought he did a lot of things well at the very beginning of the series, but they held on to him and they play him this type of minutes and they give him this type of usage when AD is out because they desperately need his scoring. And if he's not going to be able to score, then that's why he got taken off the court and in came THT for those minutes there in the second and the third quarter. Because if Kuz doesn't have it and LeBron has to ask out because he's fatigued, you see exactly why Kuz is currently the number 2 trend on Twitter.
Exactly, and you got to remember they gave him that contract in the offseason. So I'm wondering how much they regret that at this point. But I mean, hey, I don't know if they can still, you know what I'm saying, possibly include him in a trade package and just they're gonna have to revamp this team because as constructed, they got Ben McLemore, they got Wes Matthews. To be honest, they should have just kept Danny Green. I know he got a lot of slander, but he's a bigger defender. He's good at deflecting, like getting steals and getting deflections, and I just trust him more to hit shots more than Wes Matthews and I'm saying Ben McLemore or I don't freaking know, man. I don't even know what the hell.
Triv, we appreciate you, man. Thank you for the call. Everyone on this roster team, this Lakers roster, feels expendable other than Anthony Davis and LeBron. Because THT's got to get paid. And when we had Bobby Marks in here, there's a weird stipulation in his contract that is going to allow the poison pill provision to be exposed. And they're really going to have to pay THT to keep him. He really feels like the one guy that you want to have to build for the future. I'm sorry, KCP was great too. KCP was super solid tonight. I don't want to forget about him. He was super solid this entire year and this entire series. So KCP is a part of this cornerstone moving forward, LeBron, AD. And then what from there? Where from there? Crazy stat. This is the first NBA Finals in 11 years since 2010 without Steph Curry or LeBron James. First NBA Finals since 2010 without Steph Curry or LeBron James. That's nuts. That is nuts. Couple of quotes for you real quick. Dave McMenamin is tweeting these out. Anthony Davis says, I wanted to do whatever I could do to help the team. My body didn't agree. Dennis Schroeder, you gotta go through the bullshit to get the good shit. He says he plans to return to the Lakers next season. Woof. Woof. All right, I'm going to find me a Suns fan. Where did you go? There was a Suns in 6 guy in here. There he is. That's how you get into the chat. Nicely done, my friend. What's going on?
You hear me?
I can. How we feeling?
Man, electric. Electric.
That's the word. Okay, electric. Is someone writing these down in the Twitch chat? Everyone's got their words. I want someone documenting these things, and we're going to read them at the end of the show tonight. So talk to me, my friend.
I just have 2 things I really want to get off my chest. One,
I've been seeing just a lot of talk about injuries, this, injuries, that. Injuries definitely played a role in this series, but I still think it would either have been Suns in 6 or Suns in 7, only because the series was tied 2-2. Chris Paul had one shoulder and AD had one leg. So I just feel like, regardless, injuries definitely played a role. But this Suns team, I've watched every game, bought every pass to listen to every game and watch every game. I've seen every game. And the moment I knew that the Lakers were screwed is when Devin Booker was still in the game after the first quarter and continued to play after the first quarter. That's when I knew Devin smelt blood and he wasn't gonna let this ride. He wasn't gonna let it get close if he had any say in it. And every single game in the regular season, Devin always took a break after the first quarter because he always played the whole first.
Mm-hmm.
So after that moment, I just knew Devin. He smelt blood and he was out for anything tonight, man.
There's a very limited number of players in which you can classify as just these playoff killers. Big difference between regular season and playoffs. I would put someone like Donovan Mitchell in there, Jamal Murray, of course, LeBron, KD. We can have the conversation about Kawhi, and like I don't know if he falls into this specific category, but this was a very good first step of Devin Booker. When he smells that blood that you're referring to, he kind of was playing with the attitude of this shit is over, and I'm gonna prove it to you right now. There's a special degree of that, and it requires you to take a lot of shots, which on paper or on the shot chart are going to go down as inefficient shots. And you know what? It doesn't fucking matter because I'm in the zone, and your little chart there does not tell the full story. And when you have someone that is seeing red like that, it was special to watch him in these two games. Just kind of, I'm going to be the one to sprinkle the dirt on me. I'm the one. Give me the ball. I'm willing to take the responsibility and the burden of doing that, and also the responsibility if I miss and we lose. There was not an ounce of fear against a team that has LeBron James and, at least for the first couple games, Anthony Davis. That zero fear, zero. People always want to say that because it's easy, right? That player's got no fear whatsoever. You hear that all the time at the bar. But this was one of the very few times in which I actually saw him prove it with his actions, because actions always speak louder than words.
Yeah, and I'm a sports fan, big time sports man, big time Suns fan, and I watch like the sports shows in the morning, like First Take, Undisputed and all that, and I just saw everything about LeBron James this, LeBron James that, AD's health this, AD health that. I didn't hear not one single, caster say anything about Devin Booker. And, like they were like, yeah, Devin Booker can get his, but I ultimately think LeBron James, been there, done that. Yeah, I understand all that. My second favorite player is LeBron James. So it was a good feeling to know that this rising Suns team beat a defending champion Lakers team, and I just can't. Electric is definitely what I was, man. I was just up and down and clapping, and saw the whole thing, surround system. It's just crazy how 1 year can change everything, and you got to give your flowers not only to Devin Booker for doing his thing and proving that he's not an empty stat player, but also Monty Williams and his coaching staff, and just the ability to bring in Chris Paul. Like Chris Paul said, he came here because he wanted to play with Book because he knew he was a dog and he was a dog, and they were just going to do some dog things together. And so you just got to give your flowers to Monty. Monty is the biggest culture shift that we've had a long time in Phoenix. And I'm saying this because I've been a diehard Suns fan, and I am from Bloomington. Well, not from Bloomington, but born and raised in Indiana. So I've never been to like a physical Suns game outside of the one where they occasionally will play Pacers. And so Devin Booker is definitely my favorite player in the league, and it's just crazy to know that I wish I lived in Phoenix because I would definitely be turning up right now. But
And
yeah, I don't want to take up a lot of your time, man. But
no,
thank
no,
you.
no. I appreciate this conversation. Before I let you go, I would implore you specifically and everyone else listening to this on the NBA's. I just retweeted it, but the NBA's main Twitter account has photos of LeBron and Devin Booker meeting. You
Yes.
saw this in the tunnel, and he not only LeBron gives Devin Booker his jersey signed with a message on it that says "To D Book, continue to be great," and they took a photo together. I bet the list of players that LeBron has done this for with a personalized message is very short to get this from LeBron. And that level of respect right there from the king himself to do this after a loss, by the way. That's a big moment. If you're a Devin Booker fan, this right there is all the validation that you need. That LeBron James did this shit, and it wasn't just a dap after the game. This was, yo, I want you to have my damn jersey. So
And that's the thing too. Like as I said, he was my second favorite player. And when I saw him after the game, he just went into the tunnel. I was like, I mean, that's fair to do during the series, but the series is over now. Like, give credit to this Suns team. Even Chris Paul, I saw Chris Paul was looking at the bench. He was like, "Where LeBron at?" And that's just great to see. It's great to know that Devin idolized Kobe too, and that's who his game is after. And I saw every bit of Kobe at Staples Center tonight.
that is well said, my friend. I thank you for the call. You enjoy the win tonight. That is well put. That is the best sign off I think we've had from any caller here ever. That there was Kobe in the arena tonight in a different way, and it was through an opposing player because of how he idolized him. Good shit. Let's keep going. Tough act to follow. Anybody out there? Gerard, I like the Twitter header. What's going on, my friend? Welcome in.
Oh,
What
you
up,
hear me
man?
now?
Yes, sir.
All right.
What's on your mind?
My one word is I Endgame. You know, I just watched that game. Kind of put me back. Like 2 years ago, and in the movie theaters, and watching Tony Stark snap his fingers for that last time, and just it's like 18 years now of him just being, like you were saying, 40 plus minutes, 45 plus minutes every playoff game, no hesitation. To watching him having to call out of the game while they're losing in an elimination game, it just kind of just brought things into perspective that this truly is, and not is by me. I hope I'm wrong, but it truly might be the end game of LeBron's illustrious career.
At this point in his career, it is fine. It is difficult to find moments in which something LeBron James does is unprecedented, and him calling out with the scenario that you just painted the picture there, being down in an elimination game in the fourth quarter was the first time I personally have ever seen something like that. And the end game is a great way to describe it because, I mean, in the end of that specific moment in that movie, of course, his legacy, what Iron Man lives on forever, and
Right.
as LeBron's will as well. But I think he's human. I think he is human, and if he has a little human in him, at some point he's not going to be playing basketball anymore at the level that we are so used to. So of course it's easy as there are plenty of LeBron James haters out there which are taking their victory laps, but for just an objective fan that's appreciated the greatness that he's brought to the game, I'm thinking of just a stock market graph, and now we've kind of hit the peak of the bull market, if you will, and everything from here is just. I hope I'm proved wrong as well, but it feels like everything from here is just going to be a percentage of what it was during his absolute prime. He's still going to be able to bring it. Shit, he might even win titles, and he may be the best
Exactly.
player on that title team. So that is certainly not out of the question. But I had to sit down. I really did when that happened.
I think one thing that the Lakers, I'm not a Lakers fan, I'm a Knicks fan, but LeBron's my second favorite player behind Melo. But it's just, this team, I think, is just built for, say, a Cleveland Cavalier LeBron or Miami Heat LeBron. They're not built for a 36-year-old LeBron James. Like, this team is built for LeBron to play 40, 45 minutes a game, score 45, 50 points, like in like the Boston series or even series last year in the bubble. Like, this team is not for that. This team they honestly need that. Doesn't have to be a superstar. You don't need like another top 10 player, but you need, I would say, at least a top 25 player on your team in order to set that third option that LeBron can go to. Like, okay, I don't have to play as many minutes for us to even have a chance. Like, me and AD can rest because, AD is very injury prone. So they need that one dude who can step up clutch time and take some of the pressure because LeBron just is physically tired. And you saw that tonight.
It's a good way to put it. It's a good way to put it. We expect the 2012 Game 6 in Boston. We expect the Game 6 performance against San Antonio that forced the Game 7.
Right, exactly.
I have never taken it for granted just because I know this day would come. But now that it may be here, it's not officially here, but just that we're even having the conversation about it. This current Lakers team, as constructed this season, did not have Kyrie, Kevin Love, and you know what I mean? It had THT. I'm watching a highlight back. On the floor, down the stretch in the fourth quarter is THT, KCP, Wes Matthews, and like Marc Gasol. So for that team to overcome the Suns playing at the peak of their powers, that have five guys which are all better than any Laker on the floor, not named LeBron, it takes a superhuman performance. And it's very similar to what we saw in the Portland game tonight. You needed Dame while the Nuggets were pulling away there to just do something that we've never seen before, to pull out that victory. And the burden and the responsibility and what is asked of these guys is why they're great, because they give it to us more times than not. But when they don't, of course, that's what gets the most attention. Therefore, I implore, as always, to enjoy it while it lasts. And I think a lot of people are doing that tonight.
I got one more thing to say, just about Booker, because people have, for however long it's been in the year, I think, 4 or 5 years now he's been in the league? Mm-hmm. He's been slept on solely off the fact that he hasn't made the playoffs. And the fact that he came into the playoffs, went up against arguably the best player of all time. I think he's the best player of all time, but people are going to argue that. But that he walked into that stage against the reigning champs, and he just literally showed you, like, look, I've been trying to tell y'all since I was a rookie, I'm here. When I dropped 72 points, I'm here. And now that I've got the all eyes on me, I'm here. And I think that against the Nuggets next series, I think it's going to carry over. And I see them getting to play for the Western Conference Championship, not solely off of Booker, but like, I want everyone to know now that Booker is here. And it's crazy because he came off the bench in Kentucky. People seem to forget that. People are like, who is this guy? I'm like, honestly, just watch him. Like, he was on the bench on a star-studded Kentucky team. I was like, just wait. Like, it's hard for you to come off the bench on Kentucky and then, was he like the 14th pick, I believe? 14th or 15th pick in the draft, or whatever he was. Lottery pick. And he's proven, like, now you have to realize, like, I put him up there with, like, the Tatums and the Morants, or whoever you think is, like,
Donovan
best,
Mitchell,
like,
Mitchell,
exactly.
Tatum, Jamal Murray, that
Jamal
group.
Murray, yeah, exactly. Like, you have to now put Devin Booker in that conversation.
I think it's fair. After it's just one series, and you want to see him, of course, continue to do this. But our sample size with Devin Booker in the playoffs is one series, and what a damn debut that was. Gerard, thank you for the call, man. Endgame Gerard. That's what he will be known as from this point forward. Yeah. Devin Booker, I forgot he came off the bench on that damn team. Devin Booker's like debut to the world in the NBA was the 70-point game against the Celtics, which they lost. That's when we found out, holy shit, this guy can score. And that was on a really bad team. And he played on a lot of really bad teams. And we've seen plenty of players in the past put up a lot of points in the regular season, and it doesn't translate to the playoffs when their time comes. Devin Booker, after this series, we can safely say, is not one of those guys. After just one series, usually you want to get a couple years under their belt to give them a chance, right? I think we've seen all we needed to see. 6 games worth. Let's go back to the phones. Man, Devin Booker. Team high, by the way. No, campaign was team high net rating. But amongst the starters, Devin Booker, 46 minutes. 46 minutes played! Devin Booker played 46 minutes. Chris Paul only played 28. Devin Booker did that shit playing almost the entire game. He didn't tire out. He's a lot younger, but he didn't tire out. 40. I didn't know he played 46. Wow. Hell of a performance, young man. $93. People still in here requesting. Any Laker fans want to let it out? Is Tosin in here? I bet he's sleeping. I'd be sleeping too, Tosin. He didn't show up on the night everyone expected him to. Who's it going to be? We're going to get to the Blazers, I promise. We're going to get to Blazers. Let's put a little cap on Talking Laker. I want to get a couple more calls, and then we're going to move on. It's going to be a late night here, folks. Just buckle up. It's worth it. Looking for a waiver. Oh, here's one. This is interesting. We got a honest LeBron fan who is also a Suns fan. My man Rufus. Rufus, talk to me, my friend. Is this the Australian guy?
What's up?
What's up, Rufus?
Yeah, you already know. My Suns, man.
What's the one word you got for tonight? One word to describe your Suns.
Man, hasn't even hit me yet, man.
Oh, good.
It's crazy.
What's your emotion then? Put it into words for me.
I wouldn't say shocked, but man, I'm just excited, I guess. Never would have expected my team would come in and beat LeBron. Cause like LeBron's my GOAT. Like, he always has been, but you know, to see my team come in there and beat him just feels so good.
It's a state of euphoria that sometimes you can't even illustrate properly. You can't believe what you just saw, and a lot of it. Again, this team on paper, right? How is Campaign this good? How did he get this good? And why did it start in the bubble? None of this makes sense. How did they survive Frank Kaminsky minutes? How does Torrey Craig survive 11 minutes out there when he can't put the ball into anywhere near the backboard? Like, they just find a way to make it work. How did Jay Crowder figure out his three-point shooting in which he was 6% from the damn field for what felt like a majority of the series? How did they do it? I don't know. They are just made of nails. They are a bed of nails. And they laid the Lakers to sleep on it.
Man, Campaign is something else, man. He was like, when he was back in Chicago, man, they just played him because they were trying to lose and tank. He hadn't even played in the league for a couple of years, and he comes and signs with the Suns, and all of a sudden he's one of the best backup point guards in the league.
It was at the point, Campaign played so well tonight that Chris Paul re-entered the game in the fourth quarter, and they only showed Chris Paul checking in, so I was assuming Campaign was coming out, and I thought for a second, do I really want Chris Paul in the game right now? Chris Paul, the point guard! Campaign was playing so well that I'm like, maybe we shouldn't take Campaign out for Chris Paul. And when you say that out loud, you remember how ridiculous it sounds, but Cam Payne was playing at that level tonight, in which that was worth having at least a conversation about. Now, when he came in, they kept Cam on the floor, which I thought was a smart play. Even though you go super small, the Lakers had no choice to go small themselves because they were trying to hit threes and come back. But Cam, oh my God. At some point you figure, like, it's Cam Payne. He's going to come back down to earth. He still hasn't in a year plus.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. He's so good. He's so quick, and then he's like a 40% from three too.
God,
so
is he
it's
buckets?
just so hard to guard him.
He is buckets, dude. I mean, he's certainly he's not an all NBA defender by any means, but boy, can he get into that paint and use his body? And he's so good at passing. I can't believe what I'm seeing because we remember Cam Payne leading the Chicago Bulls tank brigade, and even with Oklahoma City, it was like that for a little bit. But how they extracted this talent out of him, it's another story. Devin Booker's the main story, but Cam Payne is on the menu of things to talk about in regards to just someone that is playing to a level in which none of us ever saw imaginable. Rufus, we thank you for the call. Couple more Lakers, couple more Suns, and then we'll move on to Portland and Denver. Because, of course, Portland's going to be the main story. It should be about Denver because they won. I know all these people in here want to talk about. I got no waivers. Does that mean y'all want me to move on? I can. I'm more than happy to. I'm going to let in Tsunami Papi El Chico. What up, dude? There he is. You there? There you go. Unmute your mic. Trying. We're trying. Going once. Bottom left corners. Turn your mic on. Going twice. Don't do it. I gotta let you go. Sorry, man. Moving on. Let's go to Addy. What up, Addy?
Yo.
What's up? How we doing?
Can you hear me?
I can.
Oh my god, I can't believe I made it in. I've been spamming the wave button.
All good? What's on your mind, my friend?
First of all, I've been listening to these since you mentioned saying compare yourself to an NBA player. I think you called me Jared Dudley.
Oh, yeah. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, this is my first time actually requesting to speak, though.
No, it's all good.
So I made it. I guess I'm more a LeBron fan than a Laker fan, but I guess the one word to describe it would probably be disheartening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think what you were saying about like watching his mortality was tough to watch, but I felt like he should have emptied the clip and, like, I don't know, gone for like how Kobe did in his last game and maybe just shot it 50 times, because there's still a bunch of times in the game that I thought like guys were scared to shoot. What were your thoughts on that?
I can hear that argument for the first quarter when the Suns were an avalanche and
that's what I mean,
the Lakers look shell-shocked. Again, is this happening again? That was what their eyes told to me when they would zoom in on a player. And why aren't we able to finish at the rim? Where's LeBron? And does he need to turn it on right now? And by the time they got those answers to the answers to those questions, the score was 20-8, and then it was 28-15, and it got out of control. And they got punched in the mouth from the tip-off. And, of course, you're going to surround LeBron with Schroeder, who doesn't shoot. Caruso was really the only one before he got hurt. That was just firing, catching, shooting in rhythm at will. KCP got a couple up, but who else on this team is looking to score? This was my biggest issue again after Game 5. I was screaming, begging the Lakers to figure out who was going to be the Robin to LeBron's Batman. And even after a Game 6 loss, we still can't answer that.
Right. Yeah, and to speak, I was like, I think it was far-fetched to expect a 2012 Game 6 like Boston, but instead Booker did it for us instead. If you think, because what you said, 46 minutes, 47 points, basically every minute he was there, he was scoring. It was, I think another word, if not disheartening, is probably like respect, because I mean, I'm a big LeBron fan, but I gotta respect talent where it is, and like Booker, man, that's a bad man right there.
Yeah, tonight was the show out game, and that he did it with a Chris Paul, zombie Chris Paul. Of course, there's other members on the team who played well, but this victory started and ended with Devin Booker's dominance in a Laker team that has a plethora of dudes who can go out there and try and make his life a living hell. Again, we're talking about the best defense in the damn league that didn't have its two best defensive players for months to get playing together, that they had so many different rotations throughout the year. This Laker team was so good, and Vogel was so smart with his rotations and his philosophies that they still won games without their best players because of the defense. KCP, Wes Matthews, Caruso, THT, and Schroeder are all awesome individual defenders, and not a single one of them could even draw blood against Devin Booker tonight, and they all had their chances.
Yeah. Well, one last thing. So, I really thought that before the season, I'm pretty sure like many people thought this Laker team was going to repeat, and I was really, really, like confident. And obviously, injuries play a role, but I'm not gonna, like injuries are part of the game, and if it happens, it doesn't happen. You think for next season, like they gotta have a conversation with LeBron. Maybe he really needs to embrace the. It's hard for me to even say this, but to embrace really being the second, or even maybe not third option. Obviously, that's crazy, but like embrace being the second option. Maybe I'm not sure how they retool the roster yet, because it seemed like it fit well when everyone was healthy, but once like AD went down and then LeBron went down, it was like they couldn't really, like become cohesive again. So what do you think about, maybe father time is a comment, but I really don't want to believe that.
I don't want to believe it either. I've enjoyed LeBron's career too much. He's still on the team. They're still going to probably be the favorites, if not one of them, to win the title next year. And if they surround him with shooters and a new assortment of big men that can carry the load while Anthony Davis is getting through the regular season, of course, I will think the Lakers are still one of the favorites to get to the promised land. But it just got exposed tonight. I think that for him in particular, that you said it was far-fetched that in 2012 performance in Boston is his most famous one, probably, that he could do that again. And what's crazy is I would disagree, just because of the greatness of LeBron James, that I still thought he had that in the tank, and he may have certainly tried to give it to us, but he has always found a way to deliver those when needed the most. Especially, I mean, the man's never lost a first round in his entire life. And gosh, there's just no explanation to it other than he just didn't have it this series. He didn't have it tonight. Does that mean he won't have it in the future? Only time will tell on that one. But this feels like the moment, if that's true, if he lost it, this will be when we start. This is when it started.
He needs to do the Wash King narrative just to motivate him for next season.
Facts.
Yeah,
well, we
thanks,
thank you. You got it, dude. Thanks for the call. Charlie, Trevino, Lord Take.
Oh my God! I actually made it on here.
Welcome in.
Robert, how's it going, baby?
A little bit different of a tone with the Phoenix Suns fan coming in here, which I can appreciate. Live it up.
Thank you. Yeah, well, I'm glad you didn't have me on after Game 2. I honestly wanted to be back in the lottery, dude. I'm spending 3 hours researching every fucking Twitter doctor. I'd be studying for the bar, and I'm doing this shit. But, yeah, I guess I'm ready to have my heart broken again.
No, at this point, I think anything that happens for the remainder of the season, even if you
It's
somehow
gonna
got
be great, right?
swept, yeah, now it's the cherry on top. Of course, you guys want to win a championship, but y'all just beat the damn Lakers, the team that you couldn't ever get over the hump during the Nash and Amari days. It goes deeper between the Suns and the Lakers fans than just this particular series. And now that you finally feel like you've conquered the mountain, you've summited the mountain that is that Lakers franchise. Granted, you've beaten them in the past, but this one in particular, you get to dethrone them. That's a season right there, regardless of what happens.
Yeah, it really is, dude. Fuck, it really is. Well, yeah, I don't even know what to say. I'm overjoyed. Too many Lakers fans on here. And one Suns guy you had on was just like kind of muted. He's like, I can't believe it, man. We won. This is great. But so, I don't even remember. What am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to ask you a question? Just riff, takes?
Just whatever you want to talk about. The premise of the show is Radio Roulette, which means I don't know who you are for that I'm picking, and I don't know what you're going to talk about. So it's just meant to be completely random. Whatever's you're thinking.
Odds making it out of the West now that we beat the favorite in the West.
Of course. I mean, the path is set that you're going to play the Denver Nuggets, who I think you probably would have signed up for at the beginning of the season if you knew you were going to make the conference finals. It's a team without its second best player. They're stout over there. It'll be a great series, but I can't name a team that's left in the playoffs that you would probably rather want to play more than them. So it's lined up that you guys may win this series, go to the conference finals, and play Utah. If Dallas somehow wins that series, by the way, against the Clippers, that means these following teams are going to these following teams are going to represent the Western Conference in the NBA Finals. The Phoenix Suns, the Utah Jazz, the Dallas Mavericks, and who else am I missing? What's the other team? Who are the Mavericks going to play? Who am I missing? Denver?
Jeez. Do we even watch NBA?
I'm sorry. Let's do it. Denver, Phoenix, Utah, and Dallas are the four teams that are one of those is going to represent the Western Conference. So that stat that I read off before, that this is the first NBA Finals without Steph or LeBron, feels the same as the first Super Bowl in which didn't have Peyton Manning or Tom Brady. It was broken up by like Ben Roethlisberger and Aaron Rodgers for a year. We're in that year right now when it breaks up the dynasty of these great players, all-time great players.
Baby. So I wonder how much of this you think we're still going to get in the next round where everybody's the Suns, I don't know if they have it. Kind of inexperienced team, blah, blah. I think that should have been put to bed after game one. Like, we came out and, like, you have a team with Jay Crowder and Chris Paul and then Cameron Payne, who obviously has never really played playoff minutes, but he's just like a psycho. I was like, I don't care what he's played. Like, this guy is just not afraid of anything. And obviously Booker showed that tonight. So, but I'll be interested. Everybody will see. They'll maybe be handicapping the Suns because of the AD thing. But maybe I should stop listening to ESPN or something.
So moving forward, Charlie, you enjoy your victory and the rest of your evening. Good luck on the bar. Moving forward, DeAndre Ayton, for as good as he was in this particular series, and he kicked ass, that man is now responsible for guarding Nikola Jokic. And there's going to be a whole lot of DeAndre Ayton no longer being able to hang out in that paint-restricted area, unless I'm mistaken that they're going to send someone else at Nikola Jokic. This is going to be a much different series now that he's going to be put under that type of pressure, and they need him on the floor. Can Jokic foul him out? Can Jokic, if DeAndre Ayton is required to give you that much defense, granted he was doing it against a hampered Anthony Davis, which is of equal stature, but Jokic is a completely different beast. He is the antithesis of what Anthony Davis is as a basketball player. While they're still both great, he plays the game completely differently. That's what I'm looking forward to the most. Booker, CP3, I mean, they're the headliners, but Jokic versus Ayton on the defensive side for the Suns. Let's see how that goes. All right, so I did promise. I'm sure there are some Blazers fans and Nuggets fans that want to talk as well. I will open it up to everybody. I'm picking people randomly, so whatever you want to discuss, we are open to whatever y'all want to talk about. I know there's a particular Blazers fan in here who's been patiently waiting. Let's see if I can find him. Where'd he go? There he is. I know this man's going to have... Let's get one Blazers take in here. Nick. I hope that's not from the game tonight, that picture, that profile picture. Y'all look way too happy.
No, that was so I'm from the Bay Area, but I flew up to Portland for Game 4, which was of all the games to fly to Portland, one of the better ones.
Well done.
A lot of fun, but yeah, I mean, I've been in here a couple times. I've shared my thoughts on the team and the coaching, and so I'm obviously very disappointed, but I wouldn't say I'm particularly surprised.
Facts.
You know, and this is something we talked about a couple weeks ago, but it sucks to lose first round of the playoffs again for the umpteenth time in the last, however many years. But the one silver lining is, from all indications I've seen, that Terry Stotts will be gone after the season, which I think is what this team needs, and so I'm looking forward to that. Like, I don't know if you saw Nurkic's comments.
I was about to say, did you see those quotes from Nurkic?
Yeah, I mean, he's been like subtly nudging at that basically since he came back from his injury, like halfway through the season, making kind of like offhanded comments about his role on the team and the defensive schemes that they're running and the aggressiveness and lack of accountability and kind of all the things that as a diehard fan you see and you're yelling at the TV about, and that, like, those comments tonight were pretty unveiled, as far as what he's allowed to say to the media.
So to give some context here, what Nick is referring to is the quote in which Nurkic was asked if he wants to be back with the team, and his answer was, quote, "In the right situation, yes." And then when he was asked what the right situation is, we'll see, because this is not it. Now, as I say that, I'm seeing an Instagram post from Damian Lillard. I don't know if you saw this, Nick, but this one may hurt.
Not.
Okay. Damian Lillard has just posted a Nipsey Hussle lyric with a picture of him in the arena. And the lyric is, "How long should I stay dedicated? How long till opportunity meet preparation?" You take that as you will, what that means.
Oh, no.
Does that mean how long do I stay dedicated literally, or does it mean more so I'm using this quote as motivation to be better with this team next year? Because how long till opportunity meet preparation, which is, I think, alluding to when is the fruit of my labor going to be paid off?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously I want to stay optimistic given that quote. I think he stays. I want him to stay, but I do think that he is kind of like for his whole time in Portland, he's been, for someone who's been so vocal about being loyal, not leaving, wanting to win in Portland. I'm going to retire with Portland. I want to do what Dirk Nowitzki did. It doesn't seem like he's been super vocal in terms of, like, here's what I want from coaches. Here's what I want from, what players we want to, he hasn't been pulling a LeBron James in that sense. And I think at this point he's earned the right to do that. And I think he's kind of realizing that. So the question I wanted to bring up with you is, I'm a big CJ guy. I love CJ. I think he's a great player. I think he's a great guy. I'm starting to think that Dame can't win with him on the team.
It's an interesting concept. And the answer to it is because they just don't play any defense.
Right. I think with trading for Norman Powell and getting the I don't know if it's the bird rights or the like restriction. I'm not super clear on how all the contract stuff works, but I understand that they have kind of first dibs at re-signing Norm if that's something he wants to do. I think you keep Norm, move him to the 2 spot, and try to trade CJ. The problem with that is CJ's getting paid $29 million, which I think goes up to $30 million next year. How do you deal with that? If the move is to try to trade CJ, what like in your opinion, what are you looking to get back in return?
Oh my God.
I know that's kind of a tough question.
It's a loaded question, but it's certainly worth bearing conversation about. I mean, I think everyone would line up around the block to trade for CJ McCollum despite his performance in this series. And it's more so just a fit. Like, can you get to the promised land with this backcourt? I still think the answer to that question is yes. But the signings and trades that they made, so Covington actually played well tonight. And I think that's not the issue. But you brought on Derek Jones Jr. You traded a lot for Norman Powell. And the Nurkic, man, like when he is not on the floor, this team doesn't have a chance. And we need to figure out why that is. I don't think it's because CJ doesn't have it anymore. He's not good with Dame. That is the most prolific backcourt that is not Steph Curry and Klay Thompson in terms of offensive firepower. But as has been the story with the Blazers all year, why does it require such a viral superstar performance from one of those two guys to barely squeak out wins? Why can't the Blazers ever win in a blowout? It feels unless it's a bad team. And Nurkic, in these quotes that are coming after the game from the Blazers, it feels like the subtweeting that's going on here is it's finally getting to them. And when Stotts is matching minutes with Nurkic and Jokic, okay, I understand why he was doing that. He would take Nurkic out when Jokic gets his rest, and we're going to put Nurkic back in when Jokic goes back. Okay, it makes sense on paper, but in those minutes in which Nurkic is not on the floor because he did not play anywhere close to Devin Booker minutes or even LeBron minutes for that matter, Nurkic should be out there playing 40 plus because that's what's necessary of cornerstone players on a playoff team to get victories. And when he would come off, it felt as though the Blazers were, all right, this is the time to try and steal minutes from either a Canner in this series, a Hollis Jefferson. I had to watch Covington guard Nikola Jokic on 2 straight possessions tonight. And they would erase leads. They were gone, poof, in 90 seconds. I'm tired of tweeting about it. And I pulled every stat. I'm pulling out moments, and the most perfect way for the Blazers season to end was with Nurkic sitting on the bench for the most important stop of the game in which they sort of were coming back there down by 5-6 points. And what happens? Because your tallest guy is Robert Covington, JaMychal Green's able to keep the ball alive, second chance opportunity, game-winning 3, season over. The complete epitome of this Blazers season. Right there. And that it requires so much from Nurkic, just his mere presence. And when he's out there to close out those possessions, the Blazers haven't done it all season. They have been saved by Damian Lillard's brilliance and heroics. And it finally just erupted like a volcano in these final 2 games. And it may be a blessing in disguise because you get some major changes here moving forward. And you keep the roster intact. And you'll find out if they're truly made for the promised land or not. But you have to feel like there is a major change coming after watching this tonight because this level of talent that they have feels like it went to complete waste. Norman Powell didn't serve a purpose. Derek Jones Jr. didn't see the floor. Robert Covington was asked to guard the entire state of Colorado. Just none of it makes sense, and it's not just a one-off. They didn't have it tonight. This has been the case in Portland the entire year, and it is a major letdown for a team that on paper should be in the conference finals.
Yeah, I mean, I guess then that's my worry is that okay, so we replace Stotts, get a coach that's great. I agree. I think that the talent is there. Like on this team on paper as it stands right now has what it takes to get to a Western Conference final, if not a championship. My worry is what if that's wrong, and they actually are missing a piece or two, and we waste another year of Dame.
He seems to be a little frustrated, and the way he came off the court in Denver with that press conference, he just didn't want to hear it, and the way he left the court, the body language just suggested that I'm tired of this shit. And Dame is as loyal as it comes. You will never see from me a suggestion that, oh, is it time for Dame that he finally is going to ask out? I mean, he lives by his words, and you will never hear him publicly say, I want out, because it would be you make him look like the biggest hypocrite in the world, a complete contradiction of everything he stands for. Whether that happens behind the scenes or not is a completely different story. But I can't get over how the Blazers, for between 12 and 15 minutes a game during the regular season and this playoff series against Denver, in those minutes in which Nurkic isn't on the floor, never once did they win those minutes. Never once. Kanter out there. Kanter's talented. He serves a purpose in the NBA for some team. But if you ask him to play a true center position, which requires more than just what he does at the rim on offense, basketball's a two-way sport last time I checked. Never once did I think the Blazers were going to be able to hold on to a lead because they can't play their stars 48 minutes. And they surrendered. They surrendered. Nurkic came out with 2 minutes left in the third quarter, came back in with 9, and an 8-point lead had evaporated for the second time, multiple times in a series. Where there's smoke, there's fire. They say, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, can't put the blame on you. Fool me 3 times, fuck the peace sign. I'm going to butcher J. Cole's line. Load the chopper, make it rain on you. If it quacks, I'm going to keep dropping these on you. If it quacks like a duck, walks like a duck, it's probably a duck. And this Portland Trail Blazers team right now is a complete duck.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to see who they try to get to replace Stotts. But thanks, Wob.
Feel better, my friend. It's been a pleasure talking to you. The pulse of the Portland Trail Blazers. Back to the lines. Still 100 of you in here requesting at 2:52 Eastern Standard Time on Radio Roulette. It's late for me. And on a personal note, someone that my team is now out of it, but I'll continue to be doing these because I'm watching every damn game because I love it. But we built a pretty significant international audience from these because there are people in the world that we've spoken to. I think we're up to 33, 34 countries now. There are people from other parts of the world that watch the NBA as well. And they're not on 9-to-5 schedules here in the United States. And it could be the afternoon. It could be morning there. This is meant to be an international show. That the reason why we go live right after the late game that didn't end until 1:30 in the morning is because it's not 1:30 everywhere on this planet. So we certainly appreciate you, the mods and Twitch and everyone over there chatting. We appreciate you guys hanging out here because this is meant to be the go-to instant reaction no matter where you are, what city you live in, or what language you speak. Basketball is the universal language. I don't know why I just went on that little rant, but I'm going to go back to doing the phone calls now. Anybody? It's a war of attrition with these waivers. Ryan. ¿Qué pasa? That was a quick connect. I can appreciate a quick connect.
Hello?
What's up? I can hear you.
Robert, we freaking got through it, man.
Yes, sir.
All of the stress and anxiety that I've had over the past 8 days waiting for LeBron James to turn into a superhero, it has finally stopped, and we finally buried the Lakers. Man, does that feel good to say.
It's been a minute, right? And I'm sure you witnessed all those wars at the end of the 2000s, that Nash, Amari, Marion, whether the Suns won or lost. It's been a minute since this rivalry has reared its head. And it's got to feel good tonight that you dethroned the champs, too. Big difference.
And you know what feels really good, Wob, is the last time I was on here talking to you, we talked about how refreshing it was to get a decent Lakers fan who's not just spewing garbage. And today on Twitter, I saw somebody retweet a tweet from like 2019 talking about how Kyle Kuzma in a first-round pick should be getting them Devin Booker. And boy, oh boy, does it make me happy to see that Kyle Kuzma's out here scoring 6 points and Devin Booker's out here putting up 47 points in their mouths to send them home. What a difference it would be.
Yeah, I'm guilty of it too. I was extremely high on Kuzma. I'm getting a tweet circulated at the moment of I wouldn't trade Kuzma for all but 15 guys in the league, and that was certainly an assessment gone wrong. That has certainly changed now, but you know what? That's why they play the games, and Devin Booker probably wasn't on the list, so I'd be hypocritical if I said I wasn't included in that group as well. But Devin Booker has proved that his ascension to superstardom has significant running laps around where Kyle Kuzma currently stands.
It's great to see. You talked about it just like 15 minutes ago, I think, talking about the Nuggets versus the Suns and what that could look like. And I think it's kind of interesting because you talked about how obviously Jokic is a different beast than a 50% Anthony Davis or 75% Anthony Davis that DeAndre Ayton's been going up against. But weirdly, DeAndre Ayton gets really hyped up against Nikola Jokic, and he's averaging like 26 and 13 against him every time they play. And I'm just curious if you think that the Suns, like, what's your prediction now? I know the series just ended tonight, but what's your prediction for those series and how it's going to look?
Oh man, I'm asking already to be giving predictions out. Certainly the home court helps. The home court is going to help big time because, I mean, the Suns have proved they play quite well in front of them. If you're holding the gun to my head saying who's going to win this damn series, I'm going to take the Suns in either 6 or 7. And I'm doing that because I think the Nuggets will come out and they will win their games early in the series, whether that's in Phoenix or in Denver. Because the Suns are going to try and figure out how to guard Nikola Jokic, and they have the bodies there, I think, to figure it out. And I think it'll take a little bit of time because he's just simply too good to have a game plan and just ride with it. They're going to be pivoting their business model for 2 weeks, and it's going to be a pleasure to watch. But that also means Nuggets fans are like, damn, why is he picking the Suns? That by saying the Suns in 7 means that Denver is going to win 3 games in the series. I think they will have Jokic, hopefully, a plan for him at that point, plus the home crowd. Give me Phoenix is my answer.
I wish so badly that Jamal Murray ended up actually getting to play in this series because him versus Devin Booker with that Kentucky rivalry that they for some reason have every time they play against each other, they mock each other and they talk their shit and stuff. And it would be riveting to get to watch that in full playoff action. And especially just because, I mean, you saw it last year in the bubble, and we saw it this year during the regular season. Jamal Murray kicks into an entirely other gear once he was in the playoffs.
That has been proved pretty quickly. This gear has been there for Devin Booker. He's been a scorer for as long as we know it, but now that it's translated to playoff basketball, which requires so much more execution in the half court against defenders and intensity that you don't see during the regular season, is a lot easier said than done. And Devin Booker made it look quite easy. It shouldn't be that easy, especially against the league's top defense. So based on the paper, league's best defense, you would figure that it's only easier from here. And you know what's funny is it wouldn't surprise me I'm trying to figure out who the Nuggets are going to put on Devin Booker, and they're going to have Facu out there probably annoying the shit out of Chris Paul. But Facu did such a good job of annoying Dame and CJ that it wouldn't surprise me if they sent Facu out there to just get under Devin Booker's skin inside of his shirt there just for a little bit. And then they'll save the Monte Morrises and some of these other guys. And if PJ Dozier were to ever come back, you know, they can take turns on Book. But it's going to be a shootout between watching Devin Booker and Michael Porter Jr. go shot for shot. It's going to be a lot of fun too. There's so many different angles of this series. There's going to be Jokic versus Ayton. The Facu CP3 is due for a blow up. You know, they're going to get like double technicals and ejected at least one game just because they're both complete and utter irritants. There's so many. I can go through 5 different storylines. Then you got Michael Porter Jr. Out there probably being guarded by Jay Crowder, who is prove to be an irritant in his own right in a good way, and that could be a blow up either for the better or the worse. A lot of fun basketball things to talk about with this series. It's not going to have the sex appeal of a LA versus LA conference finals, which would draw the biggest ratings, but from a basketball standpoint, we could talk about this shit all night.
Yeah, people seem to be very upset of the fact that it's, well, I guess the TV analysts are upset that they're not going to get LA versus LA because of that. But the quality of basketball that we've seen this year, I think Utah versus Phoenix and Denver versus Phoenix and Phoenix versus the Clippers all have had, I would say that the games they've played could easily be put in the top 10 most exciting games played this season during the regular season. So we're definitely not going to be getting any bad basketball, no matter who
Hey,
the final.
David, Ryan, we thank you as always, man, for calling in. David Stern, R.I.P., is rolling in his grave somewhere that Utah Phoenix may be the conference finals, because that is not David Stern approved. Yes, that's just a joke, but I don't know. That's very David Stern approved. But to Ryan's point, Utah versus Phoenix was without a doubt one of the most fun games of the regular season. That shit was awesome. I remember that like it was yesterday. And we get 7 games of that game in the regular season, that'll be an incredibly fun conference finals. Chris, welcome in. How are we, sir? Good to see you again. Hopefully. Did I jinx it? I didn't jinx it, Chris, did I? Chris, don't make me bounce you. Chris Bolton going once. Chris Bolton going twice. Next time, Chris Bolton. Y'all got to be ready. You don't know when I'm going to drop in on you. I got 100 people here to choose from. Just simply requesting. I'm going to you because of the profile picture. What's up? Andrew Perdomo. A Nuggets fan.
Bro, I did not expect that.
What's on your mind?
Bro, okay. I want to know. Why do you keep going against the Nuggets in your predictions?
I'm eating my words, but maybe it's a little recency bias. Maybe it's just not knowing the certainty of the Will Bartons and the Doziers if they're going to be around to guard the Devin Bookers. But the Nuggets now for 2 consecutive seasons have been on the wrong side of predictions and continue to prove people wrong. So I got to pick one, and if I say I'm going to pick the Nuggets, and I'm going to have Suns fans coming in here yelling at me. So I got to make a choice. And they got home court too.
Yeah, that's true. I was just thinking about that. But do you think if we had Jamal Murray, we'd be more dangerous? Do you think right now without Jamal Murray, we have a chance?
Well, your first question, are you more dangerous with Jamal Murray? I'm going to respond by saying, is the Pope Catholic? You know, of course, Jamal Murray he's my favorite player in the league, and he will be until the day he retires. And, of course, we know what he brings, but his absence matters. I think they're going to lack the firepower necessary if Jokic doesn't have it one night to get to the finish line. But you could say the same in this series against Portland, that they have offense for days, and they still found ways to score. And the defense is going to be a hell of a lot better. And it's going to come down to that Ayton versus Jokic matchup and how if Ayton's able to stay on the floor and just contain him enough so that Kaminsky doesn't have to come in there, because Lord knows he's dead man walking. But we'll see. I have so many different possibilities. I feel like Doctor Strange with there's 1 out of 10 million or whatever that figure was in which the Nuggets win this particular series. And if that one happens, it wouldn't surprise me at the least.
Yep. All right. What about the other question?
What was the other question?
Do you think we have a chance to make a title run?
Oh, I mean, if you guys had Jamal Murray, I would have considered you to be probably the Western Conference favorites. Without him, I think it's going to be real tough to get through the Utah Jazz if you end up playing them without him. Get through either the Mavericks or the Clippers, depending who comes out of that series. It's going to make me sound like a Nuggets hater that I'm not giving you all much credit, but you do have the MVP. You have surrounded him with a Michael Porter Jr., who it's a blessing in disguise. Certainly, Jamal Murray going down helps nobody. But what this has done is it has sent Michael Porter Jr.'s usage through the roof. It is now requiring him to create instead of just being this guy in the corner who's wet from 3-point land. We are really seeing him shine. And he's going to have the opportunity and the platform to do it against a dude who he probably is more than happy to go shot for shot with in Devin Booker. I think this is all working to his advantage. Being a young guy, he clearly gets up for the competition, and he now has the chance to kind of prove that, you know what, maybe I should be included in this whole Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, and Michael Porter Jr. You know, that's the three-headed monster. Thanks for the call. All right, Chris, I'll give you another shot now that you're back. It's late. What were you doing? Sleeping? There he is.
Hey, there we go. What's up?
Driving is what we're doing. That's the answer.
Facts.
Well,
Hey, so we're talking about Portland, and you know, it's looking like it might be the end of the whole Dame and CJ thing. I have some trade ideas for you, Wab.
already. All right. The engine's going here. So let's hear it. Just know, by the way, that whatever you say is going to get slaughtered by the comment section. But by all means, let's hear it.
Hey, it's all good. You know, first off, we gotta make sure the money works too. So I have a couple ideas. I'm gonna go ahead and hit you with the big one, just out the gate. Speaking of Portland and the Nuggets, what you think about CJ for Jamal Murray, Bobo, and maybe like a protected pick, CJ and Zach Collins? Because look at it, we're talking about MPJ making that leap. If we're going to be real, I think, you know, MPJ needs to be the second scoring threat for the Nuggets to really reach their peak. And we see CJ just ain't working as that number 2 guy, so we make him the number 3 scoring option. It might can work. And then also for, you know, Portland, let's just go ahead and go all in on just trying to get buckets. Dame have him and just go all in. Let's just forget it. He's coming off a knee injury. Let's just go all in on it with Jamal Murray and Dame. Let's see if we can get buckets. That's the first one. And then you let Bobo, he can go loose. He's been held back in Denver, so you know what? Let Bobo loose in Portland too.
Chris, you almost made me leave the room here. I know we didn't just suggest Jamal Murray and Bobo for CJ and a pick. Unless that name is Damian Lillard, I don't know what we're doing here. And Portland going in on all buckets was the reasoning. They've already done that. They were already trying to go small and go all buckets, and we saw the way that worked.
I mean, let's go take it. Let's up the ante. Let's go the whole Kansas City Chiefs approach.
I don't know what to say. I'm flabbergasted.
I know you're floored. Okay. Now, what about maybe Porzingis?
Oh my God.
Josh Green, and a pick for CJ and Zach Collins.
I want to hang up on you, but I just want to keep hearing these ideas too because they're so absurd.
They are absurd. But look, that's just going to show you it's going to be tough for him to trade CJ when it comes down to it.
You're not wrong in that respect just because he makes so much money that it's going to have to be a name of that magnitude. I will give you that.
And the money has to match. We have to. I mean, we can throw out some ideas that would be maybe more sensible, but we have to use guys where the money matches.
Yeah, I'm blown away by this. I don't know how to respond. I don't know where to start. I can assure you, Jamal Murray probably isn't going anywhere.
He probably isn't, but Do you really think Jamal Murray, for this team to be as great as it can be, is going to be the number 2 guy, or should we just?
But wait a second. Jamal Murray needs the ball in his hands so much that you would be like, how does that even work with Damian Lillard? There's only one ball out there, and they're
We asked the same thing about James Harden and Kyrie
oh no,
and KD.
oh my god, oh my
and
god,
somehow it's working. I'm just saying.
oh my god. And then there's Bol. You had to throw in Bol just to put the cherry on top here.
Exactly.
I'm exhausted from this, Chris.
We want to see Bol cook. You know this, Bob. Put him in Portland and watch him go off. Watch him become a double machine and be that big man that they've been dying to have since Nurkic can't get it together since post-injury. It sounds good. I know it does.
Chris, I have to throw in the towel. I don't know if I can do this anymore. It's too.
I have more now. I have more of them. But it's not. Dame isn't going to like this one because it's not enough star appeal. I feel like in this one. But OG Anunoby, Chris Boucher, and I don't know, just maybe another contract filler, but for CJ. And now Portland gets a wing who brings that defensive pedigree they need. And we're seeing OG get his game together on the offensive side. So there is potential where he can make that next leap. Boucher, a nice big, someone who can come in. And Zach Collins can't stay healthy. So Boucher can come in and pick up where he left off and some. Possibly for CJ. Might want some more in there. But it's a starting point. Now, why would Toronto do that? I'm not sure. But, hey, I'm just trying to find the trades here. You tell me what else is out there.
Chris, I gotta hang up on you. I can't do this anymore. I can't think like this. I need the trade machine up. I hope you get home safe. That did not just happen. That did not just happen. I can't believe that's what we're thinking about. Jamal Murray and Bol. I'm shook by someone even thinking about that. Jamal Murray and Bol for CJ. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I haven't even started scrolling. I need a minute. After that. Wow. This is truly Radio Roulette. You don't know what you're going to get. That is as far as I've seen anyone ever take it. And that he had those in his head, too. Chris, that you had those in your head. Meaning you came prepared with those. That's what you were thinking about this whole damn game. Oh my God. I had just sent out a tweet, too, inviting people in here, Chris. That we were still turning over. I can't even speak. I need a Nuggets fan in here. I'm hoping this is one. Hello, J. Mike. Yeah, J. Mike.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
Please save the chat.
Yeah, I don't know what Chris is talking about. There's no way in hell I'm giving up Jamal Murray for CJ McCollum.
Let's move on.
All right, sorry about that. So I'm looking at Twitter and seeing all these guys, specifically Nick Young, say that if it's Dallas, Utah, Phoenix, and Denver that are the Final Four in the West, that is the weakest playoffs. But I just don't understand how the narrative of these small market teams that play better basketball than the big market teams is bad for the NBA. And I just want to get your opinion on that.
I mean, the angle of people saying it's bad for the NBA are the same people that just pick out ratings from television, some Nielsen box that was made in 1947 that's attached to your cable box, and they're in 1 out of every 17 homes or 27 homes in America, and it's meant to determine who's watching what. And people use those ratings, and they're worth millions of dollars at upfronts with advertising companies and networks. And ratings are a big business driver, and people use those as a basis for their argument in which something is good or bad, completely out of context. So anyone that waves ratings in your face, just assume that they're grifting you. Part 2 of that is the narrative also. For those same people that wave ratings in your face will tell you that, Steph, we already know with the NBA what the finals is going to be. It's going to be a LeBron James team against the Warriors, or it's going to be LeBron, of course, is going to be there against some major market, and it's so obvious that there's only 3 teams in the NBA that are worthy of winning a championship. We're all wasting our time during the regular season and playoffs. Let's just fast forward to the games that matter. That's a very common narrative of people that don't like the NBA. That is completely out the window. First of all, with the play-in tournament making the regular season relevant, as we just saw tonight with the Lakers, can certainly attribute having to play in those games and play at the end of the regular season where they probably, let's be honest, would have rested LeBron and AD and had them ready for the Phoenix series if it wasn't for that play-in tournament. They would have load managed the shit out of them because they had the 7th seed locked up, and there would be no play-in tournament. So it makes the regular season matter. It now makes the play-in tournament matter, which makes the playoffs matter. It's a domino effect that gets us to the point now that even before the first round started, man, I could name between 6 and I'll call it 6 total teams, 6 or 7 that had a legitimate chance at the championship. And usually in years past, that number is 3 or 4. And when you have so much volatility, it's not March Madness in which a 9 seed can win the championship, right? That shit has happened before. Let's not go crazy here, but there are a lot more fan bases that believe we have the opportunity to win. That creates parity, something the NBA, again, has not had in recent times. That narrative of it's LeBron, it's Steph, and nothing else matters, that's out the window. Now, are people going to tune in to watch Phoenix play Milwaukee in the NBA Finals if they somehow beat the Nets? Of course, that would be low rated because we're talking about super small markets that don't have international fan bases to drive those ratings. Therefore, people will try and tell you that it was a complete bust of a year. And that is so far from the truth. Because if you appreciate the game of basketball, you know that the Suns and Bucks play 2 styles that I would love to watch them play against each other on the biggest platform. And most importantly, we're going to get stars, the up-and-coming guys of when Giannis is in line to take over the league as the best player in the MVP and the consensus heir to the throne of LeBron James, and Devin Booker getting his finals debut. There's so many different ways. If it's Utah, I can come up with a whole bunch of superlatives that make that finals worth watching. And at the end of the day, it comes down to whether people want to watch brands and their own teams play, or are you watching because you appreciate the game of basketball? And if your answer is the latter of which, having Utah versus Milwaukee or Phoenix versus Milwaukee is going to show the rest of the world that it doesn't have to be LeBron versus Steph for the finals to be good. It may take a year or 2 of bad ratings to get there, but this is how you build the stars of the future. And hopefully this playoff campaign proves that sentiment to be true.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you 100%. I got one more question, and I'll get out of here. I've been listening to NBA, TNT, Chuck, Shaq, all of them. Not once have they talked about the Nuggets. Obviously I'm a Nuggets fan, obviously, but the Nuggets came back from 14 down in the third quarter, came all the way back, and they won by 11. They're the comeback kids and everything, but it goes back to the narrative and all that stuff that it's just hard to push the Nuggets when, at Dame's house, we came back from 14 down and the MVP showed out. It's just hard to watch these guys when they constantly just, it's anybody but the Nuggets. And for the MVP, it's anybody but Jokic. And it's, very frustrating as a Nuggets fan, as a small market fan.
Of course, because the story is the Lakers losing in the
Yeah.
Phoenix game, and it's Portland not living up to expectations when Nuggets fans are probably sitting there like, hey, we just earned a series win without Jamal Murray. Why aren't you all talking about us? And I
Yeah, without
understand,
Will Barton, without PJ Dozier, like, come on, man.
of course. And
We got a 30-year-old rookie and a dude that wasn't playing 2 months ago, starting.
oh, and thank you for reminding me of this, but you just did. If we're going to give the Nuggets their flowers, that man, Nikola Jokic, went 50, 40, 90 in a playoff
Yeah.
series.
Yeah,
We give
exactly.
flowers to people all the time that go 50, 40, 90 during the regular. You're like, wow, that was awesome. Congrats. Someone just did it in the damn playoffs for an entire series. And all the debate of he's not a worthy MVP, he's this reason and that. If they did the whole MVP includes the playoffs, which is what some people want, he'd be unanimous after this
Yeah,
series.
for sure. I agree. Yeah, I mean, obviously, Nuggets fan, I'm biased, but I've been getting in fights all night about people that say it's Chris Paul. I mean, Chris Paul, he's a great player, point guard Chris Paul, but he had 8 points, 12 assists was crazy, and 2 rebounds. Jokic just had averaged 36, 8 and 6 today. Like, I don't know.
I get it. Defending the wall can be difficult at times, especially in a small market. And Jokic has earned every accolade that he will get this season in just this series alone, regardless of what happens against the Suns, that he has taken them this far and won a series against a team that is clearly more talented than them on paper, just because Jamal Murray is not there. That is some special shit. And there is something special going on in Denver. And it's just going to, unfortunately, take beating the Phoenix Suns now that every Nuggets game is on national TV and not on NBA TV anymore. That's that's some disrespect too.
We get the blackout. Like, we can't even watch it. I had to go to a bar downtown just to go watch the game. Like, come on, man. It's fucking ridiculous. In the playoffs, too? Yeah,
Thanks for the call, dude. Good chatting with you. That's crazy. The craziest part is for those of you that are not in the city of Denver, depending on your cable provider, Denver fans could not only not watch the game unless you had, I don't know if it was Verizon or Comcast or whatever. Some of them didn't have altitude. And because you're in the city of Denver, the game on NBA TV is blacked out. So if you're trying to watch it on TV through cable, NBA TV blacked out. We don't get altitude because they're in a fight dispute. And unless you have a tablet or a computer to illegally stream the games, which is, we don't do that here. Remember that. I would never recommend that. But the man we just talked to said he had to drive downtown to watch his team play. Let alone other people in other cities talking about it. Tell me how that makes sense. Kurtz Blurts. Hello, Kurtz Blurts.
Rob, glad to be back on again, man. I'm still recovering from that blasphemous Chris trade talk that he was trying to throw out there about Jamal Murray for CJ. I mean, I'm drunk after that game, and I don't think I would have even come up with that. But my question to you is going to stem off of what we talked about after, I think it was Game 4, when we still thought that it was very attainable for the Blazers to win in 6. I mean, shit, even after Game 5 and what happened there, I mean, we still very much believed it. Is who in Portland now is on the hottest seat? Like, I came in late now. You may have already talked about this, but it's like I'm a Stotts believer, even though obviously, he had his troubles this series for sure, and defending, and obviously like Nurkic being out and everything within that rotation and not really changing things up when it came push to shove. But why is Neil O'Shea's name not being thrown around in all this?
It's funny you brought that up because that was the first thing I thought of is he's going to throw Stotts under the bus, but he is the man that traded everything for Covington and Norman Powell, in which those two guys, it just didn't work. We could talk about their individual performances differently, but I think we can all agree that Norman Powell did not live up to the hype in which that trade, when it happened, everyone thought was going to transpire from it. He's supposed to be the third wheel on a two-way player to make up for what CJ and Dame give back on the defensive side. and you just didn't really see it. It didn't make an impact because that whole defense is just completely fucked. There's no other way to put it. You could put Derrick Jones Jr. and Covington out there. They tried this year. Shit, they even tried to unlock Nasir Little a couple of different times. Just none of it ever worked. And at some point, someone's got to take responsibility for that. And they wouldn't even be in this conversation, by the way, of Blazers fans being pissed off and feeling let down if Damian Lillard didn't go completely nuclear during that 2-week stretch. It was more than 2 weeks. It was like 3.5 weeks, actually,
3.5, yeah.
in which C.J. McCollum was out with injury. The game winner against the Chicago Bulls at the buzzer on a miracle comeback. They're not even in the damn playoffs if it's not for Dame showing out like he did. So him getting frustrated and starting to subtweet on Instagram, you got to do something that is going to turn the ship around. But you're not firing Stotts unless you go to Damian Lillard, your franchise player who has sworn loyalty to the crown in Portland, and say, we're thinking about making a change. Are you cool with this? I think he will be consulted the same way LeBron would be consulted, because that's what he means to that city and that franchise. Time will tell. I don't know if we're going to wake up to a Woj bomb tomorrow that Terry Stotts has been relieved of his duties. That could certainly be the case. But I don't know how else the Portland Trailblazers get out of this. And I'm assuming in this case, the best case scenario is you get Nurkic back, because Lord knows they need him. Let's just give them the benefit of the doubt and say they're able to retain his services. How are we surrounding Damian Lillard with enough bodies on defense to change a complete overhaul overnight? Because they still on paper have an offense which could make the NBA Finals, but their defense is the complete opposite of that. So they're going to be stuck in first place exits until they get that figured out. Now, Tom Thibodeau's don't grow on trees either. You can't just take a bunch of guys off the street and get one of the league's best defenses. But if I'm Oshie, I am certainly looking for a head coach, if we do decide to relieve Stotts of his duties, that can take the roster as currently built, because you want to trust that all these moves that we made are going to pay out in the long term, the same way, by the way, that Utah looked at Mike Conley Jr., who was horrific last year. And every Utah Jazz fan is lying to you if they don't say, holy shit, this guy is a player option that he's about to opt into. We have to deal with another year of this. Knicks fans are doing the same with Julius Randle. And then you want to give it another year here, maybe under some different direction, to figure out if they've actually are going to live up to that potential, which everyone sees. Because again, on paper, Derrick Jones Jr., Covington, Nasir Little, Nurkic, and Powell are more than enough capable bodies to defend the perimeter, 3 and D, and protect the rim. At the end of the day, this Blazers season is going to be defined by that 1 second chance rebound, which led to their season-ending 3. And it has been like that since tip-off in December. That exact moment it happens multiple times a game. Very simple things in basketball, which the boxes need to be checked off. But someone out there has to be able to do it. So a defensive-minded coach that is confident they can use these tools in the shed to get that job done.
And I get that. It's just it's so hard being a Blazer fan, because you'd like to believe that in your truest heart of hearts that is what it's going to be. Maybe it is a coaching tactic. Maybe because we do have the tools. That's, as you said, we do have the pieces. It's just for some reason they aren't clicking, and the inevitable time is ticking on Dame. Like we can't have him get into the later half of his career. Like, we don't know that he's not going to get hit by Father Time like LeBron or whoever. Like, it's frustrating, and to see that you get rid of Stotts, and then what? In 2 years, it still doesn't fucking work out, and then we're in the same position where we're pigeonholed where we already are now with the contracts that we're in. Then we still have nothing.
You make a good point that if you override a Damian Lillard opinion of Terry Stotts, you say, you know what, we got to let this guy go, and you got to deal with it because you're a player, and then it doesn't work. That's something that sends Damian Lillard over the edge, that you guys fired Stotts when we were still working on something, and the guy you brought in doesn't work, and I don't get along with him, and then all of a sudden we're going to start to have that conversation of, is he disgruntled behind the scenes?
Exactly.
It's one of many scenarios, and that wouldn't happen for years, but I'm just kind of speaking to your point that it's on the table. If you try and blow this up with a bunch of win-now players, and they don't win now, It takes a lot of time to come back from that because you're going to be liquidating C.J. McCollum, and then you're going to get a disgruntled Damian Lillard that you have to trade to the team he forces it to.
Exactly. That being the biggest piece is that because as you pointed out earlier in the program, it's like Dame's committed himself to getting a chip in Portland, but after everything that he's been through, and then you add on the top of that the potential coaching change, and then it not working in a quick one, like trying to get a chip as fast as humanly possible. Now we're having a different conversation, and he might actually go elsewhere. And that as a Blazer fan is the most Blazer thing in the fucking world. But thank you.
y'all have lived through Brandon Roy. Thanks for the call, Kurtz. Good talking to you again. Y'all have lived through Brandon Roy, Greg Oden, potentially. Y'all have had some damn stars on that team too. You made a conference finals. Brandon Roy took you, had an awesome run. Something just always happens with that team, and I understand how frustrating it is. They're so broken. They are so broken. I will never get over that 30-second stretch in which the lead just disappeared. Just disappeared with Nurkic off the court. And you knew it was coming. And they couldn't do anything. They knew it was coming so much they didn't put Rondé Hollis-Jefferson or Enes Kanter into the game. They told Covington to go guard the 5. That's how fucked they knew they were. That's insane. That they were willing to admit defeat to the point that Robert Covington's going to play the 5 because either of these two guys that I go to just don't have it. They're out of options. This next caller. Oh boy, I have been looking forward to this moment. I have been looking forward to this moment since this gentleman arrived in our chat. I didn't know who he was. He lives in a part of the world in which many of us have never been to. He's from Nigeria. And he has to stay up until 3 o'clock in the morning to watch his team, the Los Angeles Lakers, play basketball. And he was planning his trip down Figueroa, parading to all the people here. The Lakers are going to win, no matter what. And I imagine he's a little tardy coming in here tonight because he was trying to digest his humble pie. But I'm going to assume he's got his thoughts together because, boy, were those thoughts loud when the Lakers were about to play Steph Curry in the play-in tournament game. And I had to hear from this man that we're the Lakers. You see that name on the front of the jersey? That's not on your jersey, and that's why we're going to win, because we're the Lakers and you're not. The mayor of Lakers Twitter. I would like to welcome Tosin Holmes back to the chat. Tosin, the floor is yours, my friend.
Whoa! I brought up jokes at the office this morning. Everyone's been laughing at me and all that. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's been talking about, oh, your Lakers are going to win. Did they win? Did your Lakers win? And, you know, I've got to eat humble pie. But we're still the Lakers, though. That was tough to watch, I've got to be honest with you. It was very tough to watch. And first thing I'm going to say, Wolf, is Dennis Schroeder should not return in a Lakers uniform. Next season, preseason start, training camp start, no Dennis Schroeder. How can you lose a game and the first thing you do is go into the locker room and take off PG of the Los Angeles Lakers from your Instagram account? You sure you were no PG? You had 0 points in game 5. 0. So, I mean, why was he there in the first place? So the bad thing is, don't just come back. Don't come back. Just go. Go. The moment he walks out of the Staples Center, walks out of the cap, he should not come back. Anybody that gives him a contract, let alone $100 million contract, is a thief. Let's start with that. Secondly, well, I think it's time for us to trade for Dame Lillard, a man who got eliminated tonight as well. I mean, what best way to do than to try to trade for the man who is everyone's nightmare? But I think this goes back to, once again, because I know that's almost impossible. It goes back to the trade deadline and when we had to trade for Kyle Lowry. And you look at the guys we refused to give up. Why didn't they put Kyle Kuzma in the trade? But then you also think about it. Who wants a man in a playoff series who would only give you 2 a night? Kuzma was terrible. It was absolutely flat out terrible. The man should not be in the Lakers uniform. Kuzma, not Lakers uniform. It tells you how bad it was. And while I give KCP some credit, he did well and all that. But the man went missing in game 5 as well. This series was lost in 2 games, games 4 and 5. That was why we lost the series. If we had won game 4, the narrative would have been different. The moment AD goes out and everybody refuses to step up and they're waiting for Savior LeBron to come on court and do everything, I knew it was screwed. And at that point in time, I just decided, you know what? It's the Lakers. We don't lose like that. We don't go down that way. But man, we went down that way because Devin Booker dropped a 47-piece wing dinner on us. 47 at the Staples Center, and nobody could do anything about it. For the best defense in the NBA, that's unacceptable. No, unacceptable. And I've got to be honest with you. The more I saw the buckets go in, the more I was just face palming, and I was like, oh no, this is unbelievable.
Accepted defeat.
I didn't accept defeat until the last 2 minutes. I was like, you know what? I think it's over. Because I still thought, I didn't until the last 2 minutes. I was like, you know what? Still do something. Come on. With the Lakers. Come on. We've got LeBron James. Come on. He's not going to go in the first round. Come on. We can go on a 13-0 run, do that and all that. But damn, at that point, there's a lot. If we're going to share the blame pie, obviously it's going to go around. Because I've got to be honest with you. There's a lot of players to blame. I think there's also the front office as well. There's also the small matter of, given the peculiarities of the season, there were some trades that shouldn't have been made. Given the peculiarities, and say, you know what, guys, let's keep the group together and say, let's come back next season because we have a short enough season. But I don't think the front office, when the trades have been made, I've got to be honest with you, I was one of those who were excited with some of the trades. I really like Marc Gasol. I think Frank Vogel also has to take responsibility for not giving Marc Gasol a bit of playing time at the start of the series or when the series began to go south. And he didn't give him playing time until the series began to go south. And I think I was excited by that trade, and I think that's one player who really didn't give the keys to the team. Taylor has perhaps proven that he needs to play more. I don't understand why you're not going to trade Taylor, but you're not going to play him in the playoffs when you know that there's the other person who can run the offense just like LeBron does. And you don't play him, and then you keep taking him off the bench and put him in the second unit. I have no problem with that. It's coming on and playing 18 minutes, playing 12 minutes. Ain't going to do nothing with that. And when he don't play 18 and 12 minutes, he gets 11 points, he gets 12 points. And then it makes you wonder, what on God's green earth is going on in Frank Vogel's head? Because I don't understand it. The only times in this series we seemed like we were going to win was when fucking Wesley Matthews and Montrezl Harrell were on court. And you know what he does? He just takes them off, puts them for 5 minutes, takes them off again, puts them for 10 minutes, takes them off again. I don't know what he's trying to do. What is he trying to form? Is he trying to say, you know what, guys, we're not going to win this. We're not going to win the chip this season. Let's wait till next season and win again. On God's green earth, we're not going to repeat. No, keep the season. It's absolutely unbelievable, Wolf. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it that we just lost the goddamn Phoenix Suns. And Charles Barkley will gloat and goad us for the rest of his life and say, y'all remember 2021. I mean, come on. But still, props to the Suns. Props to Michael Williams. I mean, yeah, great coach. That's the kind of coach you want in your team. Props to Chris Paul. Props to, but that being said, the Mavs had better win tonight. Because if they don't, LA's not going to be enough for us, man. I mean, I know not LA, but, the Mavs had better win tonight. They better win tonight. Because this misery loves company. And we have... You have to shed it together. I mean, it's got to be a bad series. It's got to be a bad season for LA together. Let's know nobody from LA is going to the second round. Because if the Clippers make it to the second round, oh my days. I don't think I'll be able to live it down at work because they're going to go with me and gloat every pleasant day. So please, I'm begging you now, on FanDuel, I'm begging you, on Radio Roulette, I'm begging you guys, right now, Mark Cuban, I know you're my mentor. I look up to you. I'm looking up to Luca. I'm looking up to Kristaps Porzingis. You better come up to the party today. Team Hardaway Jr., what happened in Game 3 and 4 cannot repeat itself. You guys got to win. You guys got to win tonight. Make sure they lose in 6. Because if they lose in 7, they're going to say, well, we went one game better than you guys. So make sure they lose in 6. So tomorrow morning, when I rock up at the office, it will be my turn to say, Clippers, yeah. Because that's what they told me. Lakers, yeah. LeBron, yeah. AD, yeah. Oh, come on. Well, I still cannot believe we fucking lost to the Suns. I can't believe. I can't believe it. It feels like I'm in a dream. Somebody has to wake me up. Wake me up. I can't believe we just lost to the Suns. In 6? It didn't even go to 7. Come on. Oh, please.
I want to just let you take over and just host the rest of the show. I don't know how many bullets are left in the chamber here to spew, but I love that your fallback is always, we're still the Lakers. We're still the Lakers. Like, we still have 17 champions or whatever's up there in the banners, in the rafters. We're still the Lakers. You can say you talk your shit, but we're still the Lakers after this performance tonight, after this embarrassment, that we're still the Lakers. We will go down with that ship.
Man, I can't believe it. I mean, oh, come on. No, I can't believe it. Oh, come on. Sometimes it's about, you lose. You can lose games. Come on. Everyone knows you're going to lose games. I mean, you can lose series. But the manner in which we've let the series get away from us is absolutely ludicrous. Absolute nonsense. And once again, it just calls into question. I don't know what to say. Maybe they need me in LA to make the trades. Well, maybe they do. I mean, maybe they do. I'm going to leave Nigeria right now. If they want the front office, I could make decisions too. And we're going to upload some of the dead wood this summer. Don't come back to training camp. I mean, it just makes you like, you know what, guys? Because we're right. But yeah. We're coming back next season, and we're going to win the chip. Y'all got to be careful. Y'all watch your backs. Utah, Denver. Because I think Denver got something special going on there. I think they're going to go to the finals. That's like the team I also think I'm rooting for. I think they're going to go to the finals. If they win against the Suns in the semis, they've learned lessons from last season. We're the only ones that have the right to beat Denver. You know that. You know that as well. We're the only ones that have the right to beat Denver. I think they're going to go to the finals. And MVP Jokic, who I didn't think was the MVP before, and now I see why he's the MVP.
Preach.
Let's get to the finals. You know what, Will? I got one more surprise for you. Remember I said on the first time I came on, I said it's going to be one of the Nets or the Lakers not going to make it to the finals.
Yes.
Hell yes, both not making it to the finals. We both not going to go to the finals. Because I can't imagine Kevin Durant in the NBA Finals without LeBron James against him.
Shouldn't exist in this universe. It's something not right about it.
It is not going to. Oh, come on. Well, I'm going to start burning sage from today. From Game 1, Milwaukee Bucks, Brooklyn Nets series. And what the sage is going to be about is KD and the Nets are going to fall in this series. They got to fall in this series. Because if they get to the finals, we're talking about, it's going to be a terrible storyline for the Lakers. It's not going to be the storyline I want to see. Anybody but the Nets and the Clippers can win the chip. Anybody but those two. You see those two? If they win the chip, we are in serious trouble.
On that note, Tosin, this has been a pleasure, and I hope you bless us with your presence, even though the Lakers are not going to be included in the playoffs moving forward. This has been the greatest therapy session I think I've done since I've began doing these chats. You have lived up to your name. You have come in here. You have let it all out the best that you could, and the Lakers lost. But I hope that you continue to watch the playoffs, and I know they're on super early over there. I don't know if there's going to be 3 a.m. wake-up calls for Denver Nuggets games, but we hope that you continue to come in and say hello to us as the playoffs progress.
Definitely, my man Giannis is still in the playoffs. I really love him, so I think, I'm going to be up for Milwaukee games, going to be up for Denver games. I still have to watch every playoff game, to be honest, because I got it's the NBA playoffs. I really enjoy it, and ain't got nothing to watch but the playoffs at this point in time. I have to see every playoff games, and definitely I will be coming with my analytical mind and not my sentimental mind at that point. Because now no passion anymore. There's no we're the Lakers anymore. We're out the season, and now I've got to come as Draymond and talk about how some teams run the offense, and But yeah, definitely. I always listen to the radio Roulette. I've got no choice, so definitely I'm going to be back.
I hope there is a day in which our paths cross, one way or another. If your work brings you to the States, or I go on a world tour of some kind, I need to experience this in person. So I will make that my life's work for us to enjoy a game together, because I certainly have enjoyed these conversations since the beginning. The very first Tosin call will forever live in infamy on this Radio Roulette show. And we appreciate you as always. I'm sorry about your Lakers, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
See ya. Ladies and gentlemen, Tosin Holmes. The one, we have a standing ovation going on in Twitch right now with their emojis for Tosin Holmes. Hopefully I'm saying his name right too. You're always going to get some honesty with that, man. Always. Moving on. Love me some Tosin. Jay. Jersey Kid. Welcome in, Jay.
Hello?
What's up, man?
Oh, finally.
Finally. Sorry, Tosin took up a lot of time there.
Oh, yeah, he was spitting. I felt like a fan. He was talking. I felt it. But, yeah, it's tough. Gotta root for my boy Luka to send the Clippers home, and then the season is a success. Even though we home, as long as the Clippers join us in Cancun, all is good.
I saw a great meme that someone put out there. I don't know what account it was from, but it was the Josh Hart when he was all confused, and when Jimmy Butler sees Kawhi Leonard and LeBron show up in Cancun this weekend with the famous Josh Hart confused face. That one got me pretty good. But yeah, there's some star power that's going to be siphoned out of the NBA playoffs here, whether it's Luka or the Kawhi and Paul George. There's some big names that are not going to be a part of the postseason moving forward, and that again is a testament to the parity.
I'm just sad we'll probably never get the Lakers versus Clippers conference finals that we all wanted.
That is true.
It seems so unlikely.
That is true. That is starting to feel like when Kobe and LeBron were supposed to play each other in 2009, and Dwight Howard ruined it.
Yeah, that would have been one for the ages.
That we were supposed to get that finals that year. That was when the stars had finally aligned. And I certainly would consider that much higher than Clippers versus Lakers in a conference finals, but it's got the same vibes that we feel like we missed our window.
For sure. But I just want to say, everybody, y'all can have y'all jokes now, because we're going to be back next year. Rest of LeBron, rest of Anthony Davis. We're coming back, and we're going to take the number 1 seed back, and we're going to be in the finals next year. So, have the jokes. Ha ha ha, we was on y'all back. We was on y'all behinds all year, cracking jokes. But we coming back next year.
Laker fan from start to finish, Jay. Thanks for the call. This is why Laker fans catch a lot of flack in here for these exact reasons. There's still almost 100 of you requesting to speak here. And it is approaching 4 a.m. on the East Coast. I guess we're just going to kind of keep going here. Sophie, please break up this sausage fest for us, would you? Maybe not. She dropped. Unless she's still connecting. Moving on. Unless she pops in. Y'all are still here? Y'all still want to talk? We'll keep going. Editia. I wish I could pronounce your name properly, but I can't. Welcome in, my friend.
Hello, am I audible?
You are indeed audible. What part of the world are you calling in from this evening or this morning?
Man, I'm calling from India.
India. We got another India caller. We got a couple of India callers going on recently, but welcome.
Oh my God, I've waited. Thank you, thank you. Waited for this for so long.
Why's that?
Man, like I've been on Twitter for like 3 to 4 years, and I've seen your account, followed your account, and never saw you in reality. So I thought that you look exactly like your profile picture. So that was pretty surprising. And you kept changing your profile picture. So
That would be the commissioner of the NBA. A lot of people don't put two and two together, and they're like, "Wait, you don't look like that?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not Adam Silver, but it's all good." What's on your mind tonight?
yeah, basically, what I wanted to ask was, I watched the game. This Lakers and Phoenix, man, it was a crazy game. But at the halftime show, you know those guys on TNT,
Mhm.
Shaq made an opinion that without Joel Embiid, Atlanta would win the series 4-1, and I was like completely shocked. What the fuck are you saying? I mean, what is your opinion? Like, without Joel Embiid, does Philly stand a chance against Atlanta?
Of course, they stand a chance, but that Philadelphia team goes from being the number one seed in the Eastern Conference down to about a six seed without him. I mean, he is without a doubt the most important. That includes Nikola Jokic. I'd probably consider Embiid to be the most important player in terms of VORP, which stands for Value of Replacement Player, in the entire league, whether that stat is proved true by the number or not. The entire offense just runs through him, and it allows things like Ben Simmons to stand on the opposite block and stand there and just harass the rim. And you can't do that if Embiid's not on the floor. It requires Ben Simmons to have the ball in his hands a hell of a lot more. They want to go pace and space. They want to go wide. But at the end of the day, Philadelphia, whether Embiid is there or not, are going to compete in this series. I don't know if 4-1 Atlanta is accurate. I would certainly give Philadelphia at least 2 games. Atlanta could certainly still win it in 6 or 7, but Philadelphia will win because they have the ability to take Ben Simmons and Matisse Thybulle and throw size at Trae Young, which he simply cannot handle. Trae Young really proved to us on a Devin Booker type of career arc that these playoffs, he's made for them, and he's here to perform, and he's done it well. But there is a big difference between being guarded by Emmanuel Quickley and Derrick Rose than Ben Simmons and Matisse Thybulle. Those are two of the best on-ball defenders, arguably, in the backcourt in the entire NBA. And if you beat them off the dribble, they are so big, so fast, so long, and so athletic that they are going to be able to chase down that floater and force Trae into all sorts of contested shots, in which during the Lloyd Pierce era this season, Trae was doing a whole lot of isolation and jacking up unsolicited difficult shots. And he may have to do that regardless against Ben Simmons and Matisse Thybulle, whether Joel Embiid is on the floor or not. So that's the matchup I'm looking forward to most in that particular series, is how he deals with the insane length of those two defenders.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. Exactly, it's crazy. And I also want to say one last point. I'm a Warriors fan totally from the beginning, and it was just really very sad that Clay Thompson got hurt. But I just want to tell you all, everyone who is in the chat here, that we are gonna come back and just bring me back Clay Thompson with this prime MVP level Steph Curry and Draymond Green as the defensive player of the year candidate. And man, it's going to be such a fire season next year, because I'm seeing like the Lakers fans are also like, yeah, AD will be back, LeBron will be back. Maybe they're going to trade Dennis Schroeder or whatever. But yeah, man, this is the first finals where it won't be LeBron, there won't be Steph Curry. And I hope next year this isn't the same, and I want Steph Curry in the finals. Thank you, man.
It was a pleasure talking to you. Nice to put a face to the name. And don't forget, Warriors fan, that you may have the opportunity to get not one top pick, depending on where their pick goes, but that Minnesota Timberwolves pick, if it falls out of the protection, they may add two studs to a team, and they'll get Wiseman back too. They'll get Wiseman and Clay. The Warriors will be there, absolutely, if everyone's healthy, one way or another. Coach KJ Royal. Hello, Coach.
Rob, can you hear me?
I can.
How you doing, man?
Not too bad, my friend. Getting a little tired here. It's now 4 a.m., but we're motoring through.
Absolutely. Point I wanted to make, man, I don't know if anyone has mentioned it. I think it's kind of gone without anybody mentioning it, but I don't know if you guys kind of feel this way, but does it seem like kind of unbeknownst to everyone, the shift of power in the league has kind of shifted over towards the East? I know, for a lot of years when LeBron was just kind of running through the East, it was like, oh, you can't do it in the West, and it seemed like the West was the best conference. But now, these young bucks kind of popping up, and the Clippers down, to the Mavs. I think the Mavs will finish them off tonight, hopefully. And then obviously with the Suns popping up and knocking out the Lakers, it's like, I know you guys were mentioning it earlier. It's either, if the Mavs win, it's like the Mavs, Phoenix, or Denver, or Utah that's going to come out of the West, which is like completely unexpected. But then, you got Milwaukee and Brooklyn in the second round in the Eastern Conference, which really, in a lot of years would probably be an Eastern Conference final. So I kind of wanted to get your opinion on that. Is it kind of like the power of the league maybe shifting a little bit back to the East?
I'm not only going to agree with you, I'm going to say that the three best teams left in the playoffs are in the Eastern Conference. Those are Brooklyn, Milwaukee, and Philadelphia, assuming Embiid was healthy. I would consider those three best teams remaining on paper. Of course, the Utah Jazz have a better record. You could say the Phoenix Suns are hot, but on paper, those teams are the three best teams in the league. And these semifinals almost feel like the Brooklyn-Milwaukee series almost starting to feel like an NBA Finals, just because we know the power and the magnitude of how good those teams and the potential of how far they could go. The Western, it's always fun to watch how it teeter-totters back and forth, because I'm old enough to remember, my friend, in the 90s when the Eastern Conference would win almost every single championship, mainly because of Michael Jordan, but all the best teams, whether it was the Knicks, the Pacers, they were always in the East, and then Shaq's and Penny's Orlando Magic, it was always in the East. The Eastern Conference would win all-star games by like 45 points over the West. Then it tilted back. In the 2000s, whether it was the San Antonio Spurs, Kobe's Lakers, Shaq goes west, even up until recently, it had always been the Western Conference champ going up against LeBron James and had to be the overwhelming favorite no matter what. And this particular season, I don't know if it's going to have the longevity for many years to come, but absolutely agree with you that the Eastern Conference is the premier talent. The talent pool. That's good news for the West, though, because Dallas, Utah, Phoenix, and Denver, they have to play each other. They don't have to worry about all those teams I just listed in the East. They only have to play one of them. That's the luxury. You play the schedule, and the West has the benefit of that this season.
Yeah, I think whoever gets out of the West, man, I think, honestly, it's going to be, even if they get to the finals, that's just an amazing season. Because I think, like I said, if Dallas can beat the Clippers, I don't think any of those teams came into the season with the expectation of making it to the finals.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I think that's going to be an amazing season. I'm here in Dallas, so I'm originally from Detroit, so I'm a big Pistons fan, but we've been terrible for years now. So I've been pulling for the Mavs, so I hope they can pull it out. I don't know what you think is going to happen in the game tonight, but I think it'd be an epic if they could get it done tonight, because I think having to go to LA and win another game, considering they've won 3 already in the series on the road, would be just insane. So hopefully they can wrap it up.
Yeah, I will say that those fan bases, one of those fan bases, assuming Dallas is one of them, are going to be able to say, even the Clippers, who haven't even been to the conference finals before, that one of those fan bases is going to be able to say, dude, we're going to the finals. Like the Suns, the Nuggets, the Jazz have been there, of course, in the 90s, but one of those fan bases is going to have the opportunity to experience the NBA Finals. And that's just not feasible usually when LeBron and Steph Curry have been there for 10 consecutive years. You never felt like you had a chance. And that's where we are now. And in regards to your question, of course, I think you want to close it out in Dallas. Even though you've won 3 games in LA, I still think the Clippers are the better team. I'm going to stick with them until they fall. But this Mavericks team just happens to be the one squad that has an emotional edge, and they're able to wield that power into productivity on the court. Because I don't even people in Dallas would probably say we're not nearly as talented. We have Luka, but they have Paul George and Kawhi. They have Marcus Morris. They got like Zubats. They got guys who are clearly better. We have Porzingis, who's over here 7-foot zombie for nothing. You know what I mean? So the Mavericks, again, this is why they play the games, because if it was decided on paper, this would have been a 5-game series in the Clippers' favor. But there's just something special about the Mavericks and the way that they get up and they don't fear the Clippers. And they feel like even despite losing last year's series, they still have the edge on these guys. That may or may not be true, but I'm just using the eye test. And that I've never seen the Mavericks, even during those 2 games that they lost at home, ever look like they're scared of the Clippers. They're not scared of blowing Game 6 and Game 7. They're going to go out there and do what has gotten them there to this point. And the Clippers usually have struck the fear of God into their opponents because, again, they have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. This should not even be a question. But watching Luka ascend to this level of superstardom, the same way that we saw Devin Booker do it with Phoenix, Donovan Mitchell doing it in Utah, these young guns, these young stars, the next generation of superstars, seeing them show out is what's making these playoffs so unique and different.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if it wasn't for Brooklyn obviously teaming up with their big 3 and their tandem, I think honestly, besides those, obviously, KD's gonna, once LeBron here retires, will probably be the best player for a couple years. But it's amazing to see what's happening. There's a big shift in the league, man. I think these young guys are kind of taking over, and I think the league is in good hands for many years to come. So, thanks for the time, man. It's awesome. These playoffs have been amazing, but it's great to see parity because, like you said, in the NBA, it's such a superstar generated league. And obviously injuries played a role in it this year. Like, I think Golden State will be back next year and competitive. Obviously, it was amazing to see Steph do what he did with not really much help this year. And then obviously with LeBron and AD and those guys being hurt. But it's just good to see the young guys step up, man, and take this opportunity. And I think it's made it, there's more parity. Like, I can't remember the first round ever being this crazy.
Agreed. And we had a sweep. We had a couple 5-gamers. And even then, KJ, it was still thoroughly entertaining. Thanks for the call. Y'all still want to talk hoops at this hour, huh? Well, keep going. We're just going to keep powering through. What's up, Carl? Sad Damon LeBron fan is his new name. What's up, Carl? I can hear you.
Hello. Yeah.
What's on? What part of the world you calling in from, Carl?
Oh, I'm all the way from the Philippines. So.
Philippines. We got another. I think this is our second Philippines caller. Welcome.
Yeah. So, first of all, I want to start with that since we're not from the U.S., I follow more the players more than the teams. So obviously, for my title, I've been following Dame and LeBron, and it's been a sad day today. This morning, it's afternoon here, so I woke up early to watch the games, and man, those were 2 back-to-back games that I can't recover from because I'm not gonna look at Twitter for like the next 12 hours.
Good idea.
Mavs win. Yeah. So I don't even want to start because like with the Lakers, it's like I thought because I've been following LeBron since I was a kid. I'm 19 now, so my whole life has been about LeBron. And it's now starting to feel like shit. This is going to be the next decade of NBA without LeBron. And it just made me feel like I took it for granted.
Right.
That I'm just so used to the greatness of LeBron James. And this is the first time I've felt like, oh my God, I'm getting old. Everyone's getting old. And but that's also a good thing because I can't help but be happy for the Suns fans as well. Can't help but be happy for Devin Booker because I've seen this guy when he was drafted and when he scored 62 points back in that came with the Celtics, and I was just thinking, this guy's gonna dominate the league soon, and he had to do it to my favorite player, and I'm like, can't help but just give respect to that guy. And I don't know, with the Lakers, like, I just thought this would be a better team than the Cavs back in 2018. But obviously, LeBron's not the same LeBron as before, and he couldn't carry the team as he did before. And I don't know where to start. Like, is it just were we just too reliant on LeBron this time? Because AD was really important, and it's starting to show now. And I'm starting to accept that in the next few years, LeBron has to be the second option or third option even, and you have to get a younger player to help AD and LeBron out because AD can't carry the game with that kind of body. And respect to him, but God had to nerf him some way or another, and have to give him that. He's a great player. I love him, but it's just his one weakness, and we take what we get.
Well, let's not forget that what it took the Lakers to get Anthony Davis, trading away Ingram, trading away Lonzo, trading away the draft picks, putting this. It's not a super team, it's more of a super duo, but putting that super duo together is going to make it quite difficult to surround them with enough talent. And they proved it. These are the reigning champions. They're still technically champions until the finals conclude. So let's not act like the experiment hasn't worked. Getting Anthony Davis and paired up with LeBron James has yielded a championship. So no matter what happens tonight or moving forward for the rest of the time that they're wearing the Lakers uniforms, they will always have that title, and there's nothing you can do to take it away from them. But moving forward, if we want to continue to win more and become a dynasty, of course, it's going to require either someone taking a massive pay cut because labor doesn't come cheap, especially when it's that good, that if you want to surround these guys with the young players you're referring to, they cost a lot of money, and the Lakers don't have draft picks or money. But they are the Lakers, and they do have two stars that a lot of players want to play alongside. So finding those key pieces that they had last year, whether it was the Rondos of the world, the Dwight Howards, if they can put that team back together one way or another with or without those players, of course, they are going to be at the forefront of being the favorites in the Western Conference because it's LeBron and Anthony Davis, regardless of if LeBron doesn't look like he can play 45 minutes at best player in the world levels. He's still going to be an all-star for the remainder of his career, probably. And of course, you want to add someone else that they could defer the ball to and just say, like, dude, we're tired of scoring and carrying this team. I think that man was supposed to be Kyle Kuzma, and it may be THT one day. But if they want to win a championship, of course, I think they need to go out there and replace those guys they lost from the bubble.
I mean, it's just crazy, man, because I still believe AD is his best teammate, for his career so far.
That is the answer. It's not even close. I don't want to hear Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade was even in his peak,
sure.
and Dwayne Wade's a Hall of Famer, but no one will ever be as talented as Anthony Davis because basketball is a two-way sport, and Kyrie Irving can wow us to death and hit clutch shots with his ball handling and hit the step back on Steph Curry. We know what he brings on the offensive side, but the way AD can change a game on offense and defense, for me, AD will always be the most talented player he's played alongside. So no matter who they surround him with, it's not an excuse by any means if they don't win with the two of them on the court. And I understand he's hurt, but AD and LeBron will always be the favorites for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I just want to talk about the Blazers too as well because
Sure.
I'm a Damian Lillard fan. I've been following Dame since 2015. And this was the Myers Leonard days before Nurkic and all of that shit. And every year it's the same shit. Like I get hopes of it. Maybe Lillard can finally bring the Blazers to the promised land, or at least the Western Conference Finals. But it's always the same fucking result. And I don't know. Like I thought it was going to be the year where they could actually move on past the first round against Denver because. I thought Rocco was going to help out, Powell was going to work out. And I think you mentioned that before, that Covington and Powell didn't, it didn't work out the way we expected it to be. And there's just like a big hole in the defense that they still can't get the hunch over. And as much as I love CJ, and he's a great guy, he's a great player, I mean, I think everyone agrees that I think it's time for him to be traded if Dame is to stay. But at this point, I can't even fault Lillard for wanting to leave, and people are gonna, some people are gonna hate him for it if he's gonna demand a trade or not. But some people are gonna like realize like, yeah, maybe for after all these years of staying loyal in Portland, that he still wants to win. At the end of the day, he still wants to
Yeah,
get the championship.
you know what they call it, man? They call it loyal to a fault because some people would prefer to die with honor through loyalty than ever stab it in the back to for individual gain. And of course, Damian, as long as Damian Lillard is in Portland on this team, it's going to be quite difficult for them to win a championship. And if he wants his legacy to be known as the guy that was always super loyal and stuck with it, you know what, he can be that, but it's going to be tough to ever be in the conversation with the all-time greats if you don't have a single ring to your name. You don't need rings to be an all-time great. Patrick Ewing and Charles Barkley are all-time greats, regardless if they have that or not. But Dame, of course, I think is probably feeling a little frustrated, but this is why they always suggest that you go home and you sleep on it, so you don't say something stupid or do something stupid, and you will reevaluate with Oshie in the front office if Stotts is there or not. That may be the key here. He may love the team, he may not. There certainly feels like enough talent to compete, but they do need to solve a lot of issues that have been very apparent during this postseason, and I don't know if that happens overnight without a complete overhaul. So, thanks for the call, Carl.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate you representing the Philippines for us. We've had Nigeria, New Zealand, Australia, Philippines. Lord knows. Lord knows we're gonna keep going. I got energy tonight for some reason. Y'all are still up. These people aren't faking here. Now up to 94 requesters now. Hey, I gotta let you in, man. You've earned the right to take your victory lap in this chat. Stephen C. How you're still up, so I imagine we're still thriving. We're thriving tonight. We're not going to bed, are we?
Oh, let me tell you something. I took off my Facebook. I took off my Instagram because I was like, all right, man, all I have is Laker fans that are friends. I was like, you know what? I don't even want to deal with it. I'm just going to go ahead and just shut it all off. Win or lose, I was going to go back on there. And let me tell you, that Game 5 and that Game 6, my goodness gracious. So I want to say a couple of things. First, I came in listening to that Laker fan just spill his guts.
Tosin?
Yes. And let me tell you, when I tuned in, I was eating something, I was drinking something, and it tasted so good because I was hearing the pain that was in his voice. And I wish I was drinking some water because I don't like water, but I'm pretty sure that would have been the best tasting water I've ever drank in my life.
Because it tasted like tears, that's why.
It was, let me tell you. And I appreciate his call. For 11 years, I've had to hear nothing but jokes from these Laker fans. Whether them not doing anything themselves or them making the finals and winning it and them rubbing it in my face, and I had to live through it all. And I know their favorite thing to do, win or lose, is to rub their rings in Phoenix's face. Mainly in my face. They love doing that because they know how diehard I am when it comes to Phoenix. And let me tell you something. This win is magnificent. And I was daring Laker fans to tell me, oh, it's because of injuries. I was daring them. I was like, please. Y'all was talking some shit when Chris Paul got, man, you guys don't got Chris Paul? Well, I guess that's Lakers at 5. Y'all was talking shit knowing that Anthony Davis and LeBron James were injured, and still was saying Lakers in 4, Lakers in 5. But y'all wasn't saying shit now. It is amazing. The Suns fans we don't have much. We have 2 finals appearances. We didn't win anything, but we do have 2 things now. We stopped the almighty Kobe Bryant from getting his 6th ring, and we have stopping LeBron James from going to the second round. Now, that's not saying anything. We can't hang that shit in the banners. They're just going to laugh. I get that. But let me tell you, to finally get back into the playoffs and to defeat the reigning champion Los Angeles Lakers, to be able to defeat LeBron James. Oh, man. Oh, my God. I was being nice to the Lakers fans. I'm talking so much shit tomorrow. I'm going to be talking like the Laker fan. I really hope the Clippers lose too, for multiple reasons. First of all, fuck LA. The whole. Oh my gosh, fuck LA. Period. Not just fuck the Lakers. Fuck the Clippers, man.
Fuck the Dodgers.
Every single team. Fuck the Dodgers. Fuck the Los Angeles Kings. I don't even give a fuck about hockey. Fuck every single thing from LA. Okay? But I want Dallas to win because I honestly, I doubt it's going to happen, but I really want Phoenix to go through Dallas when they go to the finals, because I want it to be the end all be all.
Ayton
Phoenix
versus Luka.
Thank you. And I just want to remind Dallas fans out there, since they were drafted, you haven't beaten Phoenix yet. I just want to let you guys know that. If y'all is there, if y'all's listening, I'm ready for that smoke. I was ready for the LA smoke. You think I'm afraid of Dallas? You think I'm afraid of y'all? Please, stop. But I'm going too far. I'm always taking it one game at a time. I changed my name, so it's 12 more wins. Just want to let you guys know that. We're going to be playing Denver. That's going to be difficult. I see that, But, man, I'm excited. I'm ready. Home court. Another series where it's home court. Whew. All right.
That sounded exhausting. Can I just say the Twitch chat is one commenter said, I bet he doesn't like water because it was ruined by the Splash Brothers. Is that true?
Well, I came in this year when they announced that we're getting basketball back, and this was pre Klay Thompson injury. I was like, I still think that the Suns are going to have a better record than the Warriors. But let me tell you, I am terrified next year, because I feel like Klay Thompson is going to be like, oh, y'all forgot about us, huh? And it's just, I'm terrified of it. I'm completely, I wasn't really too there. I knew they were going to do something, and they did something. It was just unfortunate that there was a play-in tournament that they had to go through, which I believe is the greatest thing. I don't care if the Phoenix Suns are in the play-in tournament. It's great for basketball. I'm just terrified of them. They're going to be scared. I do have one question. So, Suns, we're second place. We're going to the second round. We all know that Chris Paul is probably going to opt out. We have to deal with that situation. Where do you see Phoenix in 2 or 3 years? Are we still in the playoffs? Are you thinking that this year is our only year? What are you saying?
I think this team is built for the future as long as Devin Booker is there. And to get CP3 to opt out of that player option, by the way, which is worth about $44 million, if I'm not mistaken, it's going to require a long-term commitment. And I saw a report today that certainly he would be open to that. And I would be too if I was 30 something years old and I can't stay healthy in the playoffs. Of course, you want to take that money to the bank. Remember, all of those rumors are always leaked by someone with an agenda, whether that's the front office or that is his agent. So until it happens, I'm always going to take it with a grain of salt. But moving forward, as long as even if CP3 wasn't on the team, you still have this version of DeAndre Ayton, Mikal Bridges, Devin Booker, Cam Johnson, even Cam Payne, I'll even include in this, of guys that are younger, and Cam Payne's probably not included, but those others are young. They are going to be with the team for the foreseeable future, and they have proved themselves on the biggest stage against the toughest opponent possible, at least on paper, against the reigning champs. What else can they? What other obstacles? What else could they face that is more difficult than what they just went up against in their first playoff series ever? They have been thrown into the hottest fire possible, and they have rose like the Phoenix. Perfect pun set up there by your city. That I don't think they'll ever be worried about anything again. And they even proved now, as I'm giving you these scenarios of just Booker, just Ayton, just Cam, and just Bridges, that they were able to do this without Chris Paul anywhere near 100%. So every excuse that you could come up with why this is a fluke by the Phoenix Suns simply does not exist based on the way this series transpired over a 6-game sample size.
I am very, very, very happy that my team stepped up as big as they did, especially DeAndre Ayton. I believe I said before when you took my call, and again, I appreciate you taking my call again, that I've been rooting for DeAndre Ayton because he's shown, even if it is a little progress per year, he has shown progress, and he's just come out, and he just needed the big stage to let everybody know, yeah, y'all was wrong about me, and I'm excited for the future. I'm excited for the future, but I'm not even thinking about the future right now. I'm thinking about what's going right now. Right now.
Live in the moment, my friend. I want you to take victory laps until the sun comes up. Again, pun intended, out there in Phoenix. Steven, it's been a pleasure. Congratulations to your Phoenix Suns. Some of these names are getting desperate. I see my laser eyes. Someone's got me with laser eyes. A couple more, shall we? Dylan T. Austin Rivers spinning a basketball. It should be a Austin Rivers in a kind of a defensive stance the way this series went. He did hit that big three though, so all good with the ball in the picture. Dylan T going once. Dylan T going twice. I tried. I tried so hard. Man, am I gonna butcher that song? I tried so hard. I'm just intrigued by your Twitter handle, Yusuf. What's up, my friend? Dad Balloons. What made you get that Twitter handle?
I was literally gonna say, if I'm not chosen this time, I'm going to bed because I'm studying for the bar exam. I just graduated law school, so
congratulations.
Thank you kindly. I am in Dallas currently.
Okay.
Rockets fan, however, but what my takeaway from tonight was that the shortened season seems, in my mind at least, to not be brought up in any way by, analysts and commentators and people who follow basketball. But the bubble seems to be the predominant focus of everybody's idea of what an asterisk season is, but not the idea that a off season that was literally not only the shortest in NBA history, but more than twice as short as the second shortest season. I mean, and we've seen that with the 4 teams who made it the furthest, 3 of them being eliminated within the first round. I think we need some context. I think we need to have a discussion about this in a way that we're not having at all. And Anthony Davis going down, LeBron having a high ankle sprain, his first really major injury in the entirety of his career. And there are thousands of people who just wake up every day, log on to twitter.com and be like, Lay Mickey, hey Disney, like, how can you do this? How can we have these discussions without any sort of context? I think that's quite sad. And I think it's lame. I think it's I'm not a LeBron hater in any way. I love LeBron James. He's amazing. How can you not? This is a cool guy. This is a great guy, an amazing basketball player. But people wake up every day and just root against him because I'm not really understanding that. So I think that's a context that we're missing sincerely in the discussion. And I was wondering what you think about that, amongst other things.
Yeah, so I think there's 2 parts. I'll start with the LeBron, why he has so many haters. Of course, everyone in here talking about basketball. LeBron, we can all agree LeBron James is great. And there's some people, and there's a lot of them, when you're that great, of course, you're going to draw haters. They don't boo nobodies. So some people don't like LeBron because he flops a lot. He's dramatic. He busted their team's ass. Those are on the court reasons. Why they don't like LeBron. Then there's plenty of people that exist on that same twitter.com website that you were referring to that don't like that LeBron won't take a stance against China and he's involved in politics. And if those politics don't agree with him, then they don't like LeBron James either. Everyone's opinion's different, and I'm never going to tell someone how to think, but there is certainly a CVS receipt of reasons why people don't like LeBron. It's, again, everyone's entitled to their opinion. It doesn't mean I have to agree with it, but they are entitled to their opinions. So, and then your other comment was about the context regarding these teams getting bounced out of the playoffs early. And of course, I think it's a combination of both being in the bubble when other teams weren't, plus a short turnaround in the offseason equals not having the proper preparation for a season in which was quite literally unprecedented. And it's not an excuse because everyone had to kind of go through the same thing. And I would even argue that the teams that were at home watching the bubble are facing, they weren't in a gym competing against each other because there was COVID going on, and they couldn't get the run that the bubble teams were doing, and that's a disadvantage the same way that the short rest was a disadvantage for the bubble teams. But the way it's being played out here is, of course, this season is turning into a war of attrition with all of these stars going down and all of these stars now getting eliminated. It is the teams that have a bench that you can go to. Do you have a campaign on your roster that can fill the role of the almighty Chris Paul seamlessly? You usually don't have to rely on that because in NBA seasons past, teams get ready for the playoffs by benching their guys for a week and a half leading into it because those games just don't matter. The seed we're locked into, we know where we're going to finish, and unless there is something serious to play for, we're going to have our stars ready to go, and they're going to play the entirety of the playoffs on a 7-8 man rotation. And it's the teams that have survived thus far. I think every single one of them, you could say, has one of, if not the deepest bench in the entire league. So the war of attrition will get this team out of the Eastern Conference and the West to the finals. But yeah, it's claiming a lot of victims of guys that may have had lingering injuries, which we don't hear much about because they're not going to go in front of the cameras and say, yo, I think I tore something in my ankle. Like, that's going to hurt their pockets. It's going to hurt their team. It's going to hurt everything. So they keep that shit to themselves and they try and play through it. And Chris Paul may have had a shoulder injury this entire season from having to play so many games in a condensed schedule, which included more back-to-backs than ever before. We're talking about travel between cities that if you're on a road back to back multiple times, in which you can't go into the trainer's room after the game and sit in an ice bath. You have to go to the plane where you don't sleep. You land at 2 o'clock in the morning. You take a shuttle to the hotel and you sleep for about 4.5 hours before you gotta wake up and do it all again before you travel to another city. So we're seeing more casualties than ever with that, but it's going to be the teams that were most prepared, I think, with their depth charts that will rise to the top above all.
Absolutely. I do still think that the sort of lack of an off season for the teams who made it deep into the bubble is a more significant disadvantage, I should say, than not being in the gym and being able to have full play. But I mean, that's a very valid point that I didn't think of. I was sort of just tunnel vision with, well, of course, if you got a 70 whatever day off season, you're going to be screwed for your first round series. But the Lakers are out. They went out sad. It's sad to see it. I don't think it's their fault. I don't think it's because of their team construction. But as far as Damian Lillard, can I speak on this for a second?
Sure.
I think that Damian Lillard is becoming a victim of his era. And I say that to mean if he doesn't take action to force a trade or do something to get on another team, he's going to end up ringless, which doesn't mean much to me. But as far as the basketball narrative, as far as what how people see a player and his legacy, many players can end up as victims of their era, like so many players did in the '90s against in the dominant Jordan, era.
Yep.
And this is because whether it's their pride or something else, they refuse to force these trades. They refuse to do whatever. And it's becoming more common because I know that there have been super teams in the past, and, there's the argument that there's always been super teams, but the number one person who refused to be a victim of his era is Kevin Durant. And the sort of precedent that he created, the ceiling that he continues to raise on, wait, there's no way that's possible on an NBA team, right? Like, two MVPs who are still in their MVP prime, plus like other great shooters. Oh, okay, now you're going to another team and it's, wait, two MVPs who are still in their MVP prime, plus, an incredible all-star, all-time player in Kyrie Irving. Like, he just keeps pushing what we believe is possible with a super team into realms that not even, I believe, has ever been touched by LeBron James or any other player, at least in a manufactured sense. Of course, there are amazing teams that were sort of organically created, like the Showtime's Lakers, but when you have this sort of arms race, this nuclear weapons race, you're going to have people like Damian Lillard, who are like small countries, outside of the Soviet bloc or like outside of the United States. You're just going to become a victim. You're going to become a footnote in history if you don't do something and get with the big dogs. So I'm sad to see that. And I'm sad to see, going on Instagram, posting on, Nipsey Hussle lyrics and stuff like that, because at this point, you have an arms race, you have unprecedented stuff happening, but if you're refusing to make a move or refusing to, force the hand, that's sort of in your hand.
It's a good way to put it. And regarding Kevin Durant not being a victim of the era, which is probably going to be defined by LeBron, but if Kevin Durant ends up winning, let's just say 2-3 more rings and he surpasses LeBron, was it the KD era or was it the LeBron era? I still think it would be LeBron, but it's going to start to be one of those conversations in which, holy shit, like, is Kevin Durant the best player of this generation? We didn't know it until now. And let's not forget also that being a victim of the era, like the Patrick Ewings of the past and the Barkleys and the Reggie Millers that couldn't get through Jordan, in this case, Kevin Durant has also survived several catastrophic basketball injuries, the torn Achilles, the broken foot. He has powered through them all to still be the best offensive player, arguably, in the entire NBA today, after all of those things happened. I had never seen, I was stood on my soapbox, man, and I have said as soon as someone has a ruptured Achilles in the NBA, I can go down the list. It's the Elton Brands, it's the Mehmet Okurs, the John Walls, you name it. Wes Matthews, every single one of them comes back as a shadow of their old selves. And that's not an insult, it's just a fact because it's a devastating injury. And Kevin Durant looks better than he ever has. It makes no sense. Dominique Wilkins is the only ruptured Achilles survivor because it happened at the very beginning of his professional career that he was still young and able to recover. He's the only one I know until KD that was able to survive it. And that he has not only done that, but the other injuries throughout his time, plus now potentially winning another title, it warrants the conversation of overcoming the victim of an era narrative, which he is the only one worthy of having that talk about.
But I mean, I don't want to stay on too long because I know other people want to speak. But I've sort of been thinking about this on a, let me get on my Slavoj Zizek, or I don't know if you know any other prominent philosopher, but on a philosophical level, like, Kevin Durant seems to feel not too good about his championship wins. He seems to have, maybe I'm wrong in thinking that or assuming that, but from everything I gather, it seems that, there's a sort of empty feeling after you're holding up that trophy, and, the way you does it matter. I'm very, and I started off this conversation by speaking about context, and I think that context matters because it's a historical analysis of basketball is much more important than just saying, well, this person has 6 rings. Okay, but, what does that mean? And I think that when we look back, it'll still be the LeBron era because the way in which you win the ring is important, and not all championships are the same.
Facts.
But they're just not. They're just not. I mean, I'm from Dallas. That 2011 championship is everything.
That's worth 20. That's worth 20 New York Golden State Warriors super team championships. That won just because of conquering the the Heatles in the way that you did it with the one player that in the Mavericks had been through so much in terms of losing and to the We Believe Warriors in the first round, and summoning that mountain all at once. You felt like you were good for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I was just on Nowitzki Street. Like, there's no Robert Horry Street. I hate to say it, but. My final point before I go is 3:30. I appreciate you. Another, I don't want to say victim is era because he's succeeded so much and done already incredible, already a legend, gone down. But Kawhi Leonard, if tomorrow, and I'll be watching the game at home here in Dallas, but if tomorrow Kawhi Leonard goes down and goes out sad with Paul George, and he's a free agent, like if you continue with this team, will he also be, choosing that sort of Damian Lillard path, putting pride, above winning or above, what people think is winning in basketball, putting pride before pride comes before the fall, because those options are open. Kawhi Leonard, refused to go with the Lakers the first time with LeBron and Anthony Davis. Now it seems if they lose, another chance opens up.
Would he do it now? Would he do it now when the team needs him the most? Would he go to the Lakers, stay in Los Angeles, and just say, you know what? Now I want to play.
I think that other than Kevin Durant, and that's why I'm saying he's just like ahead of the curve of. It's amazing what not giving a damn can do for your life, because like Kawhi Leonard, if I had to put myself in his mind, and I can't because I have no idea, what this guy is like, but he's like, oh well, they won a championship. They don't need me, whatever. Kevin Durant was like, they're a 73-win team. They already won a championship, whatever. I'll go do it. I want that ring. But other players like a Damian Lillard or Kawhi Leonard, in becoming the victims, in becoming, these footnotes or not getting the recognition that they deserve because we place so much importance on rings culture, like they're not making the moves, or I feel like they hesitate to make these moves that could create balance. I think that if you have a Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis team, that's a juggernaut, but it's a response to a historical thing happening, which is another juggernaut in the Nets. And if they just blow through the Bucks, that doesn't seem that fun. I like parity. I think NBA fans are always like, we don't care about parity. We just I think that we do. I think that parity is important. I think that a certain level
of competitiveness and a certain level of we don't know what's going to happen is more fun than just it's done before the season. Regardless, thank you.
You got it, man. That was a good conversation, Yusuf. I appreciate you taking the time. You referred to going out sad was the words that you used with Kawhi, and that certainly would be going out sad. It wouldn't be going out sad with his career because this man is a two-time finals MVP, I believe. He won one with the Spurs too, right? So it's the Spurs and Toronto Raptors. He's good no matter what happens probably for the rest of his career. But going out sad with the Clippers, he all of a sudden faces the same crossroads in which Kevin Durant went out sad with the 2016 Golden State, Oklahoma City Thunder, losing to Golden State after blowing that Game 6 at home. Certainly different circumstances, and it was in the conference finals. But he made the phone call. He got the phone call from Draymond Green. And his way of not going out sad, was by joining that team to go get his championship and change the narrative around his career. And Kawhi doesn't need to do that because KD didn't have a ring when that happened, and Kawhi's got two. But can you imagine the shit that would happen if he says, I'm not leaving LA? And everyone's like, oh, phew, he's going back to the Clippers. And you know what? I'm going to the Lakers where I should have signed since day one because it's not working here. And I believe he's going to stay in LA. I never said he's going to stay with the Clippers, but I said he was going to stay in LA. And he's going to stay in LA because that's where his family is. He's bought 6 houses there in Los Angeles. I don't think he's moving. It's just a personal opinion. I don't know anything. It's an interesting concept. And going out sad may certainly change what people think of him because it is a what have you done for me lately content consumption atmosphere. People will forget what he did to end the dynasty that was the Golden State Warriors. To end the dynasty that was the Big Three Miami Heat. When we get to the whole Hall of Fame, well, of course, we'll remember his career as a whole. But in the moment, Kawhi Leonard better not go out sad because people will forget, and you better believe that. 4:41 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the East Coast in the United States. That's going to be as much as I have enjoyed these calls tonight. I was bitching a little bit in the after show last night. The quality of the calls tonight, through the roof. I thought that was a fun chat with you all, and I would love to stay up as long as I can, but my eyes are starting to get a little heavy here as we approach sunrise, and I do need to try and figure out some way to sleep after these talks and these games tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed the conversation. If I didn't get to you, I promise I will continue to hit faces and let y'all in, and we'll find the next great convo out there. I'm sure of it. So, appreciate y'all taking the time. Hopefully you enjoyed this night of hoops as much as I did. I'll pop on over to Twitch. I'm not going to do another 45-minute after show. I'm just going to pop in for a couple of minutes if y'all want to come drop a couple questions. If you didn't really wanted to ask something in here in the spaces, come on over to Twitch, drop us a follow real quick, and I'll rapid fire answer as many as I can. Till next time, Radio Roulette. See y'all. Hello there. Y'all are still here, huh? 450 of you. Oh, man. I enjoyed that one tonight. Didn't feel like work. Some good calls. Tosin, Yusuf was a fun conversation. The Suns fan, everyone's a little emotional tonight. We try and put a little bit of context on it with some basketball talk as well. And that's the goal of this show. I don't want it to be just all X's and O's. I like to include the fan atmosphere. Of course, we all want to sit here and be the Tony Romos of the NBA and talk about pin down screens and horns plays, but I like to balance it and mix in as much of the fan aspect as we can. And tonight was a great example of that. I think tonight was the show that I would present as a good example of what it can be. Flag quiz. Are we doing the flag quiz? I can't do the flag quiz. It's 5 a.m. All right, I'm gonna scroll your guys' comments here. No closings. I promised closing ceremonies. Well, it's too late for closing ceremonies. We'll get back to it. I promise. It's just too late. Tosin is top tier, absolutely. Keeping the playoff period for the Clippers. I totally forgot about the playoff period. I played tennis today. I haven't left the house since the playoffs started, practically, other than playing tennis. Misery loves company. Put that on a shirt. Do we have a list of all the one words of describing what tonight meant to these people? Because that would be pretty cool. Misery loves company. That was hilarious. Oh, the trade, dude. CJ for Jamal Murray and Bol Bol. Holy shit. For those of you that are, we're up to 469 now. If you're just joining us from the Spaces chat, I have promised the Twitch chat stream here that I would do a hot tub stream at 500 subscribers. So if that is of any interest to you, please feel free to drop us a subscription. I'll give as much back to the community as I can, and use your Amazon Prime. That's my shill for the night. Yeah, you know what? I need someone to clip the Tosin. I know it was really long, but that shit should live in perpetuity. At least the part. I'm sure you could pick out a couple of parts. Ranger's really good about finding that kind of stuff. You're right. If you have Amazon Prime, hey, shout out. There you go. We got a Rugged Burn subscribed with Prime. Thank you. If you guys enjoyed the chat as much as I did, I'm not. Shout out to you, R3DB. That's a really interesting screen name you have there. We're up to 198 now, subscriptions. 2 away from 200. Almost halfway there to the hot tub stream. The part about the food tasting really was instant classic. I forgot about that part. New Joint. Hey, New Joint. Thank you. ERO. LST. Thank you for the cheer. Appreciate y'all. Got a hype train going. We are through level 1 of the hype train real quick. If y'all want the new emoji, feel free to log in with your Amazon Prime. Be more than happy to accept, and we'll send some new emojis to all the people here in the chat. So for those of you that just came over from the Twitter Spaces, remember, come on over and have this stream loaded, because people are either talking shit about you in here or talking about basketball of some kind, depending on how the call is going. But if you're looking for conversation to keep yourself busy while I try and pick different people, this is the place to be. Did I get it wrong again? How do I match the balance between acquiring stars and building a deep bench in today's NBA? Man, if I could answer that question, there'd be a whole bunch of teams winning championships, right? That's the key. This year in particular is that war of attrition. It's not emoji. I think it's emoji. When will Ibaka be coming back? When his cover on the front of Fashion Magazine comes calling, I guess. I know the chances of this are slim, but there's this nightmare in my head where Portland does the right thing and fires Neil Olshey, only to bring in former Trailblazer and Danny Ainge to run the front office. Please reiterate that this is not going to happen. Please. This is not going to happen. I think. How do you stop Luka? Preferably with a taser? I don't even know if that would work. Do I win? Portland wins a first-round series with a good backup defensive big. Seemed like Nurk went out. Blazers had no answers. That would be true, and Zach Collins would certainly help. I'm a Suns fan, but sorry about the Knicks, man. What's their next move? I would like to see the Knicks bring back Alec Burks, Reggie Bullock, Derrick Rose at a discount, preferably. You pay Randall, and then go out and get Gary Trent Jr. You go out there and get a point guard, a combo guard that can score. The Knicks need scoring by any means possible. Remember, they have that Vildoza guy, Luca Vildoza, I think his name is, that they've already signed, who's sitting there and going to be ready for next season. So we'll see how he does too. What's up, little laptop? What's up, all my little laptops? I think we do need Bullock. I disagree. Bullock gave us pretty decent defense and knockdown three-point shooter. There's always a place for that on this team. Devontae Graham, DeMar DeRozan. These are going to be the names being thrown around for sure. Of course, everyone's going to say Kawhi should go to the Knicks, especially if they end up losing tomorrow night. Boy, would that fit well. I don't even want to think about it. Dame's not going to the Knicks. Dame's not going anywhere. Isn't that crazy that Kawhi's still under 30 years old? Less than 30? Of course, I don't believe Kawhi's leaving Cali. The Warriors make a huge trade this offseason. I don't know if they need to, because they're going to have a really good draft pick. They're going to get Clay back. And they're already in the luxury tax, aren't they? Someone said Zach Collins has been hurt since the 2016 election. Haven't we all? How possible do you think Luka Trey finals is? That's what I want. Anything's possible right now, man. Please notice me. I notice you, okay? Do I think the Suns can reach the final even with CP3 playing with injuries? I don't. CP3's got to be healthy, I think. Can we talk about Jay Crowder? Guy has been the most valuable role player in 2 years straight. We got a new level 1 hype train emoji here. I'm going to share it. It's Choo Choo Hype Dough. It's a doggy! Isn't that cute? Got 3 subs out of the hype train. Alright. Guys, it has been a pleasure. I promise the closing ceremonies will return when it's not 4:51 in the morning. We'll probably be back here tomorrow night. What else do we have to do? What else do I have to do? I was eventually going to try and ask this girl out who I reconnected with on Instagram. And then I hadn't talked to her in a couple years. And the reason why we didn't hook up is because we were working together at one point. And you can't be hooking up with people you work with in 2021. But I was scrolling through her Instagram pictures and I saw a picture. She was on vacation and I think she has a boyfriend because there was a dude taking the picture that she was lying in a bed with and there was hair on his legs, on the person's legs. So I'm like, that's a dude. And I could see it in the very corner. I think she tried to crop it out and messed up. So that's not going to happen. And I will be right back here talking basketball. Not worrying about that, as always. No, let's not act like I was working on something here for a while. It's just she reached out for different reasons. But I thought there might be something there. Not at this very moment. It's okay, we'll get through it like we always do. Pain. Oh good, one day. Maybe in the off season. Girl I like just hooked up with my roommate. Ouch, bro. My head is high. Trust me, I'm good. Gallinari it is. Y'all can hear the birds. You think I was kidding? You hear that shit? Listen. Welcome to my life. Talking basketball until the sun comes up. That usually sounds good on paper. That sounds fun, right? Sounds like something everyone wants to do until you have to do it every single night and you're up. Your sleep is completely fucked. You have 4,000 channel points. I don't know what that means, but thank you. I don't know. And the problem is I go to bed so late that I just naturally wake up right around noon. Use those channel points, dummy. I don't know what that means. I'm too tired to figure this out. Hey, shout out to you, sir, from Okinawa. I know you just gifted a sub as well. You are much appreciated from Japan. GG. Add Okinawa to the list, please. All right. Am I ever going to collab with some Twitch streamers? Sure. I don't know any of them. It's just me. Just me and us. All right, folks. I am defeated. I'm going to bed. Till next time. Hopefully Ranger can clip a couple of segments for us. But y'all go to bed too. Y'all been putting in the work as much as I have being here. So until next time.